Sure. Bye.
Okay.
ఫలసాయం భూసారం వృద్ధి చేయు యోచన ప్రతికూలత తొలగించుటే పరిశోధన ఆలోచన భారత జాతి జగతికి ప్రగతి మార్గమయ్యేలా ఆంధ్రమాత జాతి కంత అన్నపూర్ణ అయ్యేలా రైతన్నల అభివృద్ధికి పెనుబాటలు వేస్తూ ప్రపంచాన పచ్చదనపు రంగు నింపు నిలయం ఆంధ్రనాట వెలసినట్టి అధునాతనాలయం అదే అదే మన వ్యవసాయ విశ్వవిద్యాలయం.
Thank you all. Now I request our Associate Dean, Dr. G. Ramchandra Garu, to formally welcome all the participants of the workshop.
Good afternoon to everyone. Myself, Dr. G. Ramchandra, Associate Dean, Agriculture College, Bapatla. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this 5-day national workshop on advanced research methodologies in agricultural extension. organized by the Department of Agricultural Extension Education of this college from 17th to 22nd February. First of all, I thank our university authorities, especially our Dean of Agriculture, Dr. A. Pratap Kumar Reddy Garu, who is also the principal investigator of IDP of our university. He is kind enough to permit us and to give financial support for conducting this 5-day national webinar. It is my honor to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Vishnuvardhan Reddy Garu, Acharya Engineering Agriculture University, and Dr. Pratap Kumar Reddy Garu, once again, Dean of Agriculture, and Dr. P. Rambabu Garu, Director of Extension, and other university officers, academicians, scientists, researchers, participants from different states of India, land faculty, university employees, research scholars, students, volunteers, print and electronic media. I am profusely elated to welcome all the learned speakers for these 5 days who are delivering talks in the workshop. It's a proud moment for me to tell you all about the college. This college is the second oldest college in South India, started its journey before India's independence in the year 1945. It is the biggest constant college of Acharya Engineering Agriculture University, Andhra Pradesh, which has secured 11th rank in ICR State Agriculture University rankings in 2020, and second position in securing highest number of ICR JRFs during 2018, 2019, and 2020. Apart from UG education, Agriculture College Bapatla is also offering masters and PhD programs in agriculture. The college has magnificent infrastructural facilities, technically advanced laboratories, knowledge resource center, central instrumentation cell, and devoted and experienced faculty with scientific temperament. Coming to the extension department, it was established during 63-64 at this college with the founder head of Dr. A. Adivireddy Garu. The PG program in agriculture extension was initiated in 1984 and PhD in the year 2009. The department is known for imparting quality higher education in the field of agricultural extension. The present 5-day virtual national workshop on advanced research methodologies in agriculture extension would be a great opportunity to listen to lectures of eminent speakers in the country. I sincerely wish the national workshop would be purposeful and a great success. And I am sure and I am confident that all the postgraduate students and faculty will be benefited by this 5-day national workshop. And on this occasion, I congratulate the Department of Agricultural Extension Education for coming forward to organize this 5-day national workshop. Thank you.
Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Acharya Engineering Agriculture University, Dr. A. Vishnuvardhan Reddy Garu. Respected Dean of Agriculture, Dr. A. Pratap Kumar Reddy. Director of Extension, Dr. P. Rambabu Garu. Respected Director of Research, Dr. L. Prashant Garu. And our Associate Dean, Dr. G. Ramchandra Garu. And my co-organizing secretaries, Mr. K. Giruva Reddy, and also Jyoti, and organizing committee members, Dr. Ramadevi, Chaitanya, and M. Srinivasarao Garu. And all the participants from the different places across the country. In fact, we have received the registrations more than 700. It is almost 762. And we will have to see how many join this workshop topic at 2 p.m. And also the PG students and PhD students, our non-teaching staff and other staff, and also the eminent resource persons, Dr. Sethuraman, Dr. Sasidhar, Dr. Venkatesan, Dr. Dandapani, Dr. J.K. Kumar. I am very much privileged. In fact, I must be thankful to the university for having given the assignment through our Associate Dean for conducting this 5-day national virtual workshop on advanced research methodologies in agriculture extension. This is very much needed workshop of the current days. In the past, we have seen several developments in extension research, and most of the extension researches were confined to the design of ex post facto, and also finding out the constraints in adoption of the technologies related to the crops. And most of the studies, research papers also, they are confined to the articles, but very few of them have seen the light of it. And the administrators at the helm of the affairs, even at the university headquarters or at the state government level, they look for valid policy recommendations from the extension research. That is the need of the hour. For that, we have to struggle. The extension fraternity, though it was started late when compared to other disciplines, but with the establishment of IRA and with the establishment of Indian Society of Extension Education, the extension research has gained momentum. And also most of the research is being done by the ICR and also SAUs and also through PG students research. But they are confined to limited areas. As a result, the results obtained from the research cannot be generalized to the larger areas. To avoid that one, in fact, SAUs or ICR, they have been taking up the research studies on a larger scale or statewide level or national level with several projects and with several initiatives by the universities. In the recent past, this gained a lot of momentum, and also publication of research papers in the reputed journals has been increased. But unfortunately, the NAS rating of all Indian journals related to the extension is very low compared to other subjects. But there is a possibility of increasing the quality of the research by adopting innovative and new models in the extension research for publication of the quality research papers in high NAS rated journals. With this background only, whatever the workshop assigned to me, I have planned in such a way to have 5 days with eminent resource persons on each day. And to start with, today we have a lecture on methods for analyzing impact of the agriculture technologies, that is to be dealt by Dr. Sethuraman Sivakumar, who is working at Central Tuber Crops Research Institute, Thiruvananthapuram. He is known for many in India, not only in India and globally also. He has delivered a number of lectures, and our extension fraternity are very much keen to listen to him. And he has a lot of rich experience in conducting the research aspects. And also he has received the Global Ambassador Award also. He is the man who is delivering today's topic on the impact assessment. And next we have next day, that is on 18th, we have lecture on meta-analysis, how it can be applied in our research. Most of the researches conducted in our ANGRU has not seen the application of that meta-analysis, but with the inputs we receive from Dr. G.A.K. Kumar, who is working as a principal scientist at National Rice Research Institute, Cuttack, he is very much involved in developing the simulation models, computer models for adoption, and also rice knowledge portal system, and also the developing scales for women empowerment. And he will throw on light, see how meta-analysis can be used in our research. And on third day, on 19th, we have a lecture on this thematic analysis using NVivo software, that is to be dealt by Dr. P. Venkatesan, who is a principal scientist working in extension systems management at National Academy of Agriculture Research Management, Rajendra Nagar, Hyderabad. And he is also very much involved in undertaking several studies, and also is an expert trainer. And in the recent past, they have organized 21 days advanced research methodologies in agriculture extension. And also is very much involved in monitoring the Farmers First program all over the country. And on fourth day, that is on C21st, we have lecture on confirmatory factor analysis, that is to be dealt by Dr. A. Dandapani of Principal Scientist Statistics of National Academy of Agriculture Research Management. This is one tool. So far it has not been very much used by our extension students or in the research also. That tool is very visible. That has been included in the revised PG syllabus in BA as per the recommendation of the BSMA. And the last topic is to be dealt on evaluation of extension programs. In the recent past, of course, this has been done over the past, but the concrete measures have to be taken up for producing the quality research papers, and also to make valid conclusions, so that that conclusions can be given to state governments for implementing the some recommendations. Dr. PVK Sesidhar, who is the professor of Extension and Development Studies in Indira Gandhi National Open University. He is the recipient of several fellow awards from USA, and he has been very much involved in conducting the various development studies across the country. And fortunately, I am very much proud to say he is my student at Extension Education Institute, Rajendra Nagar at Hyderabad. And these are the topics. He is also not only dealing with the evaluation of extension programs, but also ethics part of it. In the recent past, BSMA has recommended in all the subjects research ethics. That is also going to be dealt. This is the in brief about the workshop. I thank immensely the Dean of Agriculture for having given me an opportunity to conduct this workshop with the funds received from the IDP source. Thank you very much, sir. I hope all of you will participate in all the 5 days and get more inputs in conducting the research and also produce quality research papers. That is our main aim. With this, I thank the Dean of Agriculture. Now I request our Director of Extension, Dr. P. Rambabu, who was associated with the Agriculture College, Bapatla also. He worked as professor and head, university head for several years at Bapatla. Now he is holding the Director of Extension in the Acharya Engineering Agriculture University. Now I request him to say a few words to the address to the participants. Dr. P. Rambabu garu. Sir.
Hello, Vijayabrandan garu.
Sir.
Is it audible?
You can, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. A. Viswanathan Reddy garu, Dean of Agriculture, Dr. A. Pratap Reddy garu, L. Prasanthi Madam, Director of Research, and Dr. G. Ramchandra Rao garu, Associate Dean, Srinivasarao, Dr. V. Srinivasarao, Board of Management Organizing Secretary, Dr. Vijayabrandan garu, Professor and Head, Department of Agriculture Extension, Dr. K. Gurva Reddy, Professor and TS2 Honorable Vice Chancellor, and Dr. V. Jyoti, co-organizing secretaries, and organizing committee, Chaitanya Kumari, Ramadevi, Srinivasarao, and also the faculty, secretary, eminent personalities, resource persons of eminent personalities, participants of the workshop, faculty and PG students in Agriculture College, Bapatla. Good afternoon to all of you, and I welcome all of you on behalf of the Directorate of Extension Education, Angru. You all know that extension is a discipline, plays an important role in the agriculture research and education system in India. Unlike any other discipline, continuously research is required. Extension to make the system more appropriate, need-based and client-oriented extension system is required. It is well-known fact that extension is an applied and situation-based science developed for addressing clientele needs, hence it is become all the more important to have high quality focused and client-oriented research in the discipline. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. A. Vishnuvardhan Reddy Garu, has been insisting on quality research studies, especially on impact of agriculture technologies developed by the university, and also publishing quality research papers in the high NAS rated journals. And he has been providing incentives also to the students and staff. So most of the research in action is done by the PG students of the ANGRU, SAUs, scientists, ICR, and action scientists of universities. Earlier SAUs, action scientists did not concentrate on publication or research papers, and now it has been increased because of the career advancement scheme. In our university, in the recent past, we have assigned all the action scientists of data centers, KVKs, to conduct 2 action studies with common focus on farming systems, impact of technologies, soil health cards, and Raitu Bharosa Kendras, new institutional arrangements at village level implemented by the state government, and it is of its kind in the country. At the same time, several new and innovative programs have been launched by the ICR and implemented through KVKs. So all the programs are to be evaluated and valid feedback shall be provided to the ICR and national government. So at this juncture, University Head of Agriculture Extension, Dr. Vijayabhanandana, planned and organizing this 5-day virtual national workshop with the relevant topics with the eminent resource persons, and I congratulate him on this occasion. As a university head, he organized a workshop with all our extension scientists 2 years before and made mandatory to conduct common extension studies, and as a result, all our extension scientists in the university are in the process, and publication behavior has increased. Participation in seminars, symposium, workshops has been increased. I request all the extension scientists and PG students to make use of the inputs of the resource persons in their research and drawing meaningful, valid conclusions, and to publish the quality research articles. So I thank the Dean of Agriculture, Associate Dean, and Organizing Secretary for having given me an opportunity to address during this 5-day workshop on advanced research methodologies in agriculture extension on 17 to 22nd February 22, and I wish this workshop shall be a grand success. Thank you, sir. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable words during this inaugural session. Now I request our Dean of Agriculture, Dr. A. Pratap Kumar Reddy Garu, to address the participants of this 5-day workshop. Honorable Vice Chancellor Garu, today's invited speaker, Dr. Sethuraman Siv Kumar, Principal Scientist, ICR, CTCRI, Trivandrum, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Vijayabhanandana Garu, Associate Dean of Agriculture College, Bapatla, Dr. Ramchandra Garu, other members of the Organizing Secretary, very good afternoon. Dr. Vijayabhanandana, day before yesterday, I don't remember properly, but he telephoned me and requested me to address on this occasion for 5 minutes by handing over this paper. I'm reading it now.
So it is needless to say that extension is a unique discipline among the social sciences, as it has evolved from field practices that are implemented to improve the quality of life of farmers in rural communities. The extension scientists in Agro are involved in teaching, research, and extension, of course. They teach and train the future extensionists in the colleges by imparting knowledge and skills in effective communication, rural development, program planning and implementation, impact assessment and evaluation, and entrepreneurship development. Technology assessment and evaluation is done by the research scientists at the respective research stations. The extension scientists at KVKs and data centers are involved in dissemination of agricultural technologies. In simple terms, extension scientists play multifaceted roles as a teacher, a facilitator, an organizer, an administrator, a leader, a consultant, an enabler, a catalyst, communicator, and motivator. As the discipline is contributing a lot in the service of farmers, the professional growth of the discipline is must. Research is the lifeline of any professional discipline, and the quality of research output is one of the important indicators of growth of the discipline. So, research output in extension should contribute to improve the efficiency of existing agricultural practices. Theories guide the growth of any discipline, and empirical research help in improving generalization of theories and enhance replication of the practices. Extension scientists and students need to be trained in assessing the impact of agricultural technologies with the application of advanced statistical tools for meaningful interpretation of the results. The research process need to be objective so that the scientists do not bias the interpretation of the results. The results of extension research are of immense potential for planning and implementation of the extension interventions. We need to reinvent the research process from time to time to make it stronger. It could be made stronger by means of concepts, tools, techniques, and methods. As a researcher, one should focus that the research for technology development becomes a reality. The purpose of the workshop is to analyze the existing research approaches in extension with a focus on its methods, tools, and techniques, and throw light on new and effective alternatives to derive quality research outputs. At this juncture, this 5-day national workshop on advanced research methodologies in agricultural extension, it was planned under IDP and is being conducted from 17th to 22nd February 2022 by the Department of Agricultural Extension Education, Agricultural College, Bapatla, Angrao. I'm happy that organizing secretary and co-organizing secretaries have taken care in inviting eminent resource persons from ICR institutes and IGNO for delivering the current required topics. The topics are very useful to all the extension faculty and students, and they are all requested to make use of the workshop inputs in their research programs for producing quality research papers in high NAS-rated journals. Thank you all for the time given.
Thank you very much, sir, for addressing the participants of workshop, highlighting the present status, and also the requirements, and also the direction to the extension scientists as well as PG students, leading to the production of quality research papers in high rated research journals. Thank you very much, sir, on behalf of the Department of Agriculture Extension Education and also Agriculture College. Thank you, sir, for your constant guidance and also support. Now I request Dr. V. Jyoti to formally present vote of thanks for this inaugural session of the workshop, followed by the topic on methods for analyzing impact of agriculture technologies will be delivered by Dr. Sethuraman Sivakumar.
Good afternoon. I take this privilege to immensely thank Dr. A. Vishnuvardhan Reddy Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Acharya N.G. Ranga Agricultural University, for constantly encouraging the organization of webinars, workshops, training programs, symposia, seminars, and conferences for enhancing the competency of the teachers and scientists to improve the research publication behavior. I'm very thankful to Dr. A. Pratap Kumar Reddy Garu, Dean of Agriculture, ANGRU, for permitting to organize this workshop, for providing funds under IDP and encouraging the teachers to organize such events regularly. I immensely thank him for sparing his valuable time in gracing the occasion physically. I thank Dr. P. Rambabu Garu, Director of Extension, ANGRU, for enlightening the session on the need and importance of the workshop at national level and permitting the scientists working under KVKs and DARTs for their active participation in the workshop. I immensely thank Dr. L. Prashanthi Madam, Director of Research, ANGRU, for responding to our request immediately and permitting the extension scientists working in regional agricultural research stations for their active participation. I immensely thank Dr. G. Ramchandra Rao Garu, the Associate Dean, Agricultural College, Bapatla, for his constant guidance, inspiration, providing all the amenities necessary for conducting the workshop, for providing the necessary support in organizing this event in a great way. I thank Dr. Susila Madam, Dr. Sitaram Babu Garu for attending this program along with the students. I immensely thank the expert speakers of the workshop, Dr. P. Sethuraman Sivakumar, Principal Scientist, ICAR, CTCRI Trivandrum, Dr. G.A.K. Kumar, Principal Scientist, ICR, NRRI Cuttack, Dr. P. Venkateshan, Principal Scientist, ICR, NAM, Dr. A. Dandapani, Principal Scientist, Statistics, ICAR, NAM, Professor PVK Shashidhar, Professor IGNOU, New Delhi, for readily accepting our request for sharing expertise in the workshop. I immensely thank all the 762 participants, which include extension fraternity, teachers, scientists, PG and PhD students, for taking keen interest in registering for this national workshop with thumping majority. I also thank the other participants who joined today without registration. Here I want to make a special mention of Dr. K. Guruvareddy, Professor, for supporting this workshop technically. I thank all the technical officers of the Dean of Agriculture, Directorate of Extension, Directorate of Research for their timely support. I thank Mr. Dinesh, Mr. B. Gautam Kumar, Srimati Asha for supporting this program technically. I also thank the organizing secretary, Dr. B. Vijayabhinandana, Professor and University Head, Department of Agricultural Extension Education, the co-organizing secretaries, Dr. Jyoti and Dr. Guruvareddy, members of the organization committee, Dr. Chaitanya Kumari, Professor and Head in College of Community Sciences, Guntur, Dr. M. Ramadevi, Professor, Dr. M. Srinivasa Rao, Associate Professor, the non-teaching staff of the department, Abel, Krishnamohan, Srinu, Venkateshwaramma, PG and PhD students of the department, IDP team, IDP supporting staff, one and all. If I have missed any of the members who are directly or indirectly associated with this workshop, it is not by intention. I convey my sincere thanks to one and all. The program is on live YouTube live streaming. I thank one and all. Thank you.
Dear participants, let us start the topic presentation. Now I request our Professor of the Department of Agriculture Extension, Dr. M. Ramadevi, to brief to introduce the speaker of today, Dr. Sethuraman Sivakumar. Please.
I wish to extend warm welcome to all the participants and also the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais and online participants. At this juncture, I take this privilege to present the brief resume of the Dr. Sethuraman Sivakumar Garu, presently working as Principal Scientist at Central Tuber Crops Research Institute, Thiruvananthapuram, and he completed his graduation from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University and post-graduation in Development Communication from GB Pant Agriculture University and Technology, and doctoral degree from Orissa University of Agriculture and Technology, Bhubaneswar, and he also has completed his postdoctoral degree from Florida State University, Florida and USA, and he started his career as scientist in Central Tuber Crops Research Institute, Thiruvananthapuram, followed by he also worked as senior scientist at Central Tuber Crops Research Institute itself, and later on he completed his Fulbright postdoctoral fellow at Department of Psychology, Florida State University, USA, and presently he is working as principal scientist in the Central Tuber Crops Research Institute, Thiruvananthapuram. And his major research interests are modeling human behavior in relation to food acceptance and technology commercialization, agricultural entrepreneurship development, and salient contributions of Dr. Sethuraman Sivakumar Garu is he developed sensory acceptance model for quality evaluation of food products, especially for sweet potato, probiotic pickles, and sweet potato curd making. And he also prepared biofortified varieties through multivariate statistical approach. And he developed behavioral acceptance model for IT usage in development organizations using structural equation modeling approach. And he developed a sweet potato biofortification priority index to select suitable regions in India for scaling up biofortified varieties of sweet potato. And he documented 65 indigenous recipes prepared from tuber crops, which is of great achievement. And from Konyak and Nagra tribes of Nagaland and Manipur. He is a member of Managed Core Committee for Curriculum Design in Agricultural Extension. He developed 5 courses in MSc Agriculture and PhD Agriculture Curriculum of Discipline in Agricultural Extension, which has been implemented throughout the country by ICAR from 2021. Next, coming to the publications, at his account, there are 19 publications, 10 from international journals and 9 from national journals. Mostly he has published on behavior modeling for food product development in international journals, 8 articles, and on behavior modeling of technology acceptance, 2 articles in international journals. And coming to the national journals, he published 6 articles on behavior modeling and 3 articles on entrepreneurship development. And he is the author of 2 books, that is Manual on Good Practices in Extension Research and Evaluation. And next book is the Processing, Value Addition, Packaging and Storage, published at New India Publishing Agency. And he also submitted 1 policy paper, that is on current status and future strategies. Next, he has prepared 5 technical bulletins, and he has organized so many training programs, and also he has guided 750 students on entrepreneurship development. And next, coming to the achievements and awards and recognitions, Fulbright postdoctoral fellowship was awarded to Dr. Sethuraman Sivakumar Garu in the year 2013-14 by Department of Psychology, Florida State University, and he has awarded Outreach Lecturing Fund from Institute of International Education, Washington, and he is an invited panelist for 14th session of the Conference of the Parties, the 18th session of the Committee for the Review of the Implementation of the Convention, and the 14th session of the Committee on Science and Technology to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, held at the India Expo Center and Mart, New Delhi. And he listed in the Marquis Who's Who in the World in the 29th edition. And he is a reviewer to the Computers in Human Behavior since 2012. And he got Best Paper Awards from 2 societies. And he is an expert member of the state level award committee for the selection of state farmers awards since 2015. And he is an external subject expert at the departmental assessment committee for promotion of scientists under FCS in the Indian Plywood Industries Research and Training Institute, Bangalore. And he acted as external examiner and evaluated 18 students' theses from Kerala Agriculture University. And he has given invited lectures in conferences, symposia, seminars, and training, and he delivered 83 talks. And he is a life member for PSI CHI International Honor Society in Psychology, USA, and he is a life member Indian Society of Root Crops, ICR, Central Tuber Crops Research Institute, Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. Thank you, sir. Next, now the dais is for you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramadevi, Professor of Agriculture Extension Department of Agriculture College, Bapatla. Now I request Dr. Sethuraman to deliver the topic on methods for analyzing impact of agriculture technologies. Dr. Sethuraman, ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for providing opportunity, and good afternoon to all the dignitaries who are present during the inauguration function, and as well as the faculty members, as well as the participants from more than 250 participants are there. And I'm really thankful, and very good afternoon to all. So I will directly go into my presentation without wasting much time. I think, sir, you have to give me the sharing rights. I'm unable to share.
Sir, given, sir. Huh?
It is showing host disabled participant screen sharing.
June. Co-host.
Yeah, I am getting, sir.
It is done, sir.
Yeah, yes.
Sir, it is not coming, sir.
Sir, are you getting my voice?
Voice వస్తుంది sir, మీ voice వినబడుతుంది. It is audible, sir, from your side.
Yeah, I think there is some problem. It got stuck up during sharing.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Sir, can we share?
Sir, audible.
Yes.
Sir, can we share the presentation? Ma, చేయొచ్చు కదా? Sarah?
Sir, are you getting, sir?
Presentation is not coming, sir. Slide presentation. PPT. Sir, shall we share
Can
from
you
this
check,
side?
sir?
Shall we share from this side?
Sir, now you can check, sir.
Now it is not coming, sir. Now
Coming, sir, coming,
it has come, sir. Now it
Now
has
it is
come.
coming. Now it is coming, sir. Now it is coming, sir.
Okay. Okay, can you outline? Are you getting the slide outline?
No, sir. Yeah, it's coming now.
Okay. So I'll just go directly to the presentation. I'm sorry for there was some technical disturbance, technical error happened. So my presentation will be like to see that what's the current scenario because for several years we have been talking about this impact assessment in the economy. We have been talking in the of impacts. We talk about increasing the productivity, increasing in the farmers' income, and then
Sir, voice is not clear, sir. Sir,
Voice is not clear, sir.
Slide also, slide show, full screen.
Sir, is it clear? Sir, are you getting?
Sir?
Sir, is it clear now, sir?
Voice is somewhat low.
Voice is breaking, sir.
Voice is breaking. Sir.
Voice breaking.
Sir, could you please switch off video? Then I think we'll get better voice.
Yes, sir.
Sir, presentation full screen.
Yes, sir. I'm doing, sir. Are you getting my voice?
Voice is clear, sir.
Okay, sir. Let me share the presentation. I will switch off the video. I think there is some problem. And,
Okay, sir.
work.
If you want us to share the presentation, we can.
Okay, sir. Let us try now, sir. Sir, are you getting the presentation now?
Not yet, sir. Now we got, sir, full screen.
Sir, is it clear?
It is clear, sir. It has to be put in full screen mode.
Yeah, already did, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir. You can.
Okay. So I'll be starting with the changing focus of extension and advisory services in the recent times, and what is exactly the meaning of impact evaluation, and what is the need for impact evaluation and the framework for evaluating the impact, timing of the impact evaluation, and the result chain, and the research development and adoption continuum, and finally different indicators and the levels and the current methods which we are used in the impact evaluation. As we already know, like impact is just an evaluation, and we talk about impact assessment. But when you talk about evaluation, impact is an integral part to it. So if you look into the changing focus, especially I am focusing on the extension perspective, though the many methods which we are going to talk about is all economic methods, because only those economic methods are even preferred by our policymakers and other extension and other research managers. But when you see into the changing the conditions of extension and advisory services, so we are facing a problem of climate change, unstable market price, and the farmer distress, and the biotic and abiotic stresses are increasing. And we also recently faced the problem of COVID and pandemic problems. And then another side is malnutrition is both the urban and the rural area, it is increasing. And there is a decreasing the income from the farm. So when you talk about the doubling the farmers' income, in India, we have about 10,200 and something plus, that is an farm income per month. So there, if you see more than about more than 48% of the income is coming other than the crops. So we are actually in the process of transition, like we are going into a different phase of agriculture. So in that case, what is our role from an extension and social science perspective? So from a new extensionist perspective, or like the international level things, as well as like the GIFAS and then FAO perspective. So what they say is we have to do 9 important functions as a part of the extension service. Like we have to do facilitating and knowledge management. And we talk about the constructing the knowledge.
Sir,
like
Dr. Sethraman, sir.
Yes, sir.
Slides are not moving.
Okay. So now are you getting, sir?
Yeah. Changed, sir. Okay.
Okay. I think slideshow, there is small issue. I will continue with this. I'll zoom it whenever it is required.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we are talking about facilitating the knowledge management. Like we have to do, we have to co-construct the knowledge. For several years, we have been talking about a top-down approach where researchers develop some kind of technologies and they feel like these technologies are very useful for the farmers. We disseminate it using the technology transfer approach. But nowadays, we are co-constructing the knowledge because we talk about ITK, we talk about the farmer innovations. So all these things are contributing to the development of the technology. So it is like we are looking into a kind of agricultural innovation systems. And again, the second one is we have a value chain problems in India. In India, in many places, like a middleman takes about 50 to 60% of the in the consumers share in the producer's price. Sorry, producer share in the consumer price. So there is a declining rate of the producer's share in the consumer price, especially for the staples and secondary staples, but not in the case of fruits and vegetables, it is about 50%. And again, we are also having a problem of lack of access to the credit. The recent NABARD survey has indicated though credit is available to the farmers, more than 60% people who avail the credit are the large farmers. And we talk about the innovation platforms where the innovations will be co-generated. Like I think many of you know about the rural innovation approach developed by Honeybee Network. And that network is actually National Innovation Foundation is translating the rural and other farmers' knowledge into commercializable product. So we have to involve them also into developing the technologies and as well as the dissemination. And we are also assigned a duty of developing the stakeholder network. So we talk about when a benefit of some policy decision or when a benefit of a central level program, it has to reach the grassroots level, means we need to have a strong stakeholder network. We talk about pluralistic extension, we talk about convergence at the grassroots level, but the problem is convergence hardly happen at the grassroots level. So only thing is the type of convergence what we talk about is only for conducting programs and others. It is not actually coming into a kind of long-term convergence. And we are also talking about the gender when compared to SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, Millennium Goals. We have been looking at it, and where gender equality is very, very important, and gender mainstreaming we are talking about women empowerment. And at the same time, we are also disseminating the new knowledge. And we are also looking into providing inputs and other output services and supporting adaptation to now this climate change is going to be a big issue, and it is already happening now. It is already here. So we are going to face the problem of climate change, increasing in the temperature, heat stress of the plants, and as well as there is a vagaries. Sir, are you getting my voice, sir?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So climate change, even many courses are started in Germany and other places focusing on climate change development, climate-based development, climate change extension, which is going to come in a bigger way. So when we talk about the field interventions and impact assessment, there is one thing which is coming above all. So impact assessment we talk about, I think I am putting a lot of time in the introduction chapters, because my presentation, because the setting is very important and the method, because you will be getting the impact assessment methods from everywhere, like you will be getting in YouTube, you will be getting everywhere. But there are some courses are there, some people will teach impact assessment for almost like 18 and 19, 20 videos are there. But the thing is, the very important component of the impact assessment is you have to identify the indicator and you have to identify what kind of change you want in the people. And this change you are talking, when we are talking about what kind of change is required for the people, means that you have to understand the national goals, you have to understand the state goals, and you have to understand the international level development goals, because they are the one which determines what is going to happen to a farmer at the grassroots level. So when we talk about, we use them as a pathway. Pathway means we make a general development goals and at the national level. For example, we have a SDGs, and each and every SDG will be implemented through some kind of pathway. Government will identify a policy, the policy will be translated into some kind of program, means that program will be a part of a pathway. Okay, so there are about 15-16 pathways are there, which is identified Swami Chettal in 2019. One is first two pathways are concerning to the innovations. You have to develop some kind of innovations that can help the farmers to increase the productivity and as well as the minimize the production risk. Minimize the production risk means like your abiotic and biotic stresses, the vagaries of climate change on the crop, different crop. It may not be only productivity, it may be cooking quality will be reduced and even diseases will come, pests will come. So all these things, how your technology is going to increase the productivity by withstanding the risks provided by the risk posed by the climate change, risks posed by the market agencies, vagaries of market price. So all these things will be coming directly, that which like we are directly dealing with the technology development system. The first two are directly dealing with the technology development system, like universities are developing technologies, ICR institutes are developing technologies, international institutes are developing technologies, which are being promoted to solve some kind of grassroots level issues in the farmers. The third one is the pathways to address the market imperfections and failures, because we have been facing a problem of vagaries of market price and unstable market price, brokers and middlemen eating away more than 50% of the producer share in the consumer price, and it has been there for a very long time. And there are many innovations have been implemented. Input system modifications are there and value chain interventions are there, like FPO. FPO is a value chain intervention which is designed to give the stable price to the farmers. And again, the fourth one is agricultural diversification. So I talked about the farmers' income, per capita farmers' income, that about 10,200 something per month. Okay, if you want to, but only 56% of the income, about 52% of the income is coming from crop and livestock. Rest of the income is coming from non-farm employment and the migration to the other wage labor and other things. So if you want to increase 52% to 100% or even 70%, you have to go for a farm. You have to go for a farming system, breeding, and you have to make innovations in agricultural practices, input systems, and value chain. And in NRM is coming. There are two pathways on NRM. One pathway is telling that you have to promote the NRM technology in a way that it can be managed very nicely at the grassroots level. Another one is in a broader level. We talk about the ecosystem benefits, ecosystem services, no? Like how much money we are drawing out of how much money the ecosystem services are being monetized. That is used for a policy framework. And again, we are another pathway is we are using agriculture to make a change at the grassroots level, farm, household, food and nutritional security. So we talk about the food nutrition sensitive extension. We talk about the diversifying the farmers and rural people's diet through some homestead farming or integrated farming systems. So these are the different ways government development goals are translated into the grassroots level. So there are a few more. Education and skill development, where extension takes the major role, capacity building, training programs, skilling programs and others. And the food supply and waste management, this is done by the, not directly by the agriculture department, is the food supplies kind of department. And the food safety nets, mechanism to support the purchasing power and smooth food consumption. PDS is coming under the food safety net. And the national, and apart from this, the government is putting a lot of money on innovation generation per se. Apart from application, government is putting money on R&D and the food and agricultural policy. So these are all the 12 pathways where the development goals are translated into grassroots level, because we have to understand this pathway, because the way when we talk about impact, so impact will have a blind man, elephant touching, 4 or 5 blind men touching the elephant. Impact is different for everybody. Terms. Okay, apart from this, there are other ways of doing the impact also, but those kind of indicators we will draw from the pathways which government is using to translate their development goals into the grassroots level actions. So how the pathways are being implemented, like I told, policies are there, and the policy is having many things. I have focused only on strengthening innovation generation systems, and that is ICR institutes and universities. They are developing a lot of new technologies based on the farmers' conditions. Second one is development programs, which is being implemented through the different agriculture and horticulture departments, and legal, regulatory, and support systems, where government is creating a marketing system like a regulatory market, and it is regulating the pesticide use, like a CABRC is there. So all the regulatory, legal, and other support systems, credit institutions, those things are coming under this. And institutional mechanisms, there are institutions government has created to translate these policies into grassroots level actions, like a state level, central level, extension agencies, and then KVKs, Atmas, and now farmer producer companies are coming, and NABARD is supporting them. There are institutional structures which will support translating this policy to the action. So they are working in terms of agro ecosystems, regions and states and district level, as well as they are implemented through research, education, extension, and other support institutions at the state and grassroots level. So all are targeting the stakeholders, including the farmers. So they want to change something. They want something to be changed in the stakeholder. At present, we want doubling farmers' income. That is a primary thing which the government is promoting, doubling the farmers' income and providing stick to the farmers by creating so many 10,000 FPCs. So this is what the government system thinks about the agricultural intervention, agricultural pathways. So once we understand what the government thinks, then what we are supposed to generate at the grassroots level, how we will translate the government policies into some kind of interventions at the grassroots level, so that it will create some kind of tangible and intangible impacts. Nowadays, we are talking only about tangible impact. There are again some intangible impacts also there. So these are some example of how the pathways are being translated. What is the role of extension? So you can see I used 3 examples: innovations to increase the productivity and the risk. This is 1 and 2 pathway. The type of intervention, what you are supposed to do is a technology intervention. You have to give a technological solutions to the farm problems. Then what our role is to enabling the farmers to use the individual or multiple technologies, maybe individual technologies or different cropping systems and other things. We have to promote it. And increase in productivity, these are all the expected impacts. These impacts only we are going to measure it. Increasing productivity, increasing the income, and we also want the area expansion. I call it as a vertical and horizontal impact. Vertical impact means increasing the productivity, increasing the consumption quality, and horizontal impact means you want to see the crop in a large area. That is an adoption. So that is what government wants to see. And second one is techno-managerial solutions to the farm problem. Means apart from technology, you have to teach something more to the farmers. So you have to go for farm diversification. That means that you have to teach them which crop you have to choose. Means you have the allotment of the limited resources, whatever the farmers' limited resources have, how it will be allotted to the different areas and different enterprises. You have to teach them. And entrepreneurship development. So in this goal, in this pathway, it is not only technology, it is managerial skills also has to be taught to the farmers. You have to make the farmer more skillful in implementing the technology in such a way that farmer income is doubled. At the same time, climate problem is resolved. At the same time, gender equality is achieved at the grassroots level. So all the government policies has to be translated into some kind of grassroots level impacts. So the expected impact in this case is sustainable businesses developed and their performance. So at least 5 to 6 years, you have to look into the performance of the farmer producer companies or self-help group or any kind of small businesses which are created at the grassroots level. And the other one is the nutrition sensitive extension. We are all talking about nutrition sensitive extension, human nutrition for the stakeholders. So we talk about rural nutrition and urban nutrition. Rural nutrition is malnutrition, means reduction, they are eating less, consuming less. but in urban it is overnutrition. Because we have to take care of both rural and urban areas. So that means that you have to, what extension is, you have to make sure that food and nutritional security is achieved at the farm household level. That is a duty of the extension worker or extension scientist. And what is the impact there? Reduction in the nutritional deficiency over a period of time when as a part of the impact, and sustained intake of the quality foods, because it is not a project mode. Impact is not a project mode. Impact will come only after 6 years or 7 years of completion of the project. Okay, but it is very important that at the end of the project, you have to create an institutional mechanism in such a way that the benefits gained out of the project is sustained over a period of time. That's why we talk about the institutionalization of the benefits gained over a period of out of the project. Okay, now coming to very specific components, transfer of technology. I talked about the first two pathways related to innovation. That is, they are related to the technology generation and application to solve the field level issues. So there we have a bigger role there. So we talk about technology selection, assessment, refinement, dissemination, and integration into the social system. So this is what the technology transfer is there. Technology transfer is not simply taking from a research institution and dropping it in the field. No, technology transfer means it involves selection, assessment, refinement, dissemination, and integration into the social system. So this is the meaning of technology transfer, where extension has a bigger role there. Okay, there we have a different pathway that is called a technology transfer pathway. Like one is a green revolution pathway, another one is a community-led technology transfer pathway. So in green revolution pathway, it's predominantly used in India. So like one improved variety is given to frontline demonstration in a village, so that farmer will be given some money, some direct benefit transfer, or some kind of money he will be giving, or he will be getting some inputs for implementing the particular variety or implementing the particular technology for the FLD. That means that, and he will also get some kind of subsidies for the improved technology, drip irrigation subsidy, and then fertilizer subsidy, harvester subsidy, and even for government is pushing the new technologies by providing a subsidized environment, like creating a subsidized environment. Like even in RKVY or Rabi incubator, you have to take technology only from the government institutions. Okay, that means that government is actually doing the technology push in the green revolution pathway. So whenever new technology is given to some farmer, he will get some money, he will get some kind of in critical inputs, and he will also get some certification or something from the KVK or any agency. So this is the predominantly followed pathway for promoting the technologies in India. So there is another pathway which is coming, community-led technology transfer pathway, where communities decide what kind of technologies are required. So that is a kind of para-extension worker kind of thing. Like nowadays, we are slowly switching over to the community-led technology transfer pathway. One prominent example is farmer-producer companies. Farmer-producer companies are something which are going to demand the technology. They will not be there. They are no more in the receiving end. They are going to demand the institutions to develop the new technologies. Where, and again, we are also having community seed banks, and they are all generated directly from the grassroots level through their own efforts with a little bit help from the government. So these are the two different technology transfer pathways what we follow. This impact assessment, predominantly what we do in India is following the green revolution pathway. So whatever intervention we followed through the green revolution pathway, most of the technology impact assessment, impact evaluation frameworks, they are designed to address the interventions, impact of the intervention followed through the green revolution pathway. So that's why everywhere we talk about impact assessment in monetary terms. We are not talking about capacity building terms and intangible or non-tangible kind of benefits. We are not talking. We are talking in terms of how much productivity is increased, how much disease incidence is reduced, how much of the farmer's income is, whether it is doubled or 1.5, 2.5, that is a benefit cost ratio. We talk about the net present value. We talk about the internal rate of return. Everything is directly related to applying technology or promoting technology or making technology intervention through green revolution pathway. So the whole subject of impact assessment, whatever we follow now, it is built on the green revolution pathway. So why impact assessment is required? There are many ways. Like if you take a book, so they will say that the impact assessment is required for accountability. Impact assessment is required to justify the benefit, justify the investment made in the universities. But predominantly, impact assessment means government is investing huge taxpayer money into agriculture. There is a recently in 2022, there is a World Bank report. It says that about 79 countries, they have taken the data, including India. I'm not getting the India values. That's why I'm giving a general thing. Each and every country is spending about $638 billion per year in agriculture. Okay, where they are spending it? Input subsidies 14%, output subsidies 11%, market price support 33%, decoupled transfers, and again other kind of things like 33% public goods and services, green subsidy, consumer support. So here this is also including our research support. So you can think $638 billion per year government is investing in agriculture. So that means that definitely they want some kind of output. But what happened? This study also indicated that if government is spending $1 for investment in agriculture, in any part of agriculture, like any for in general for agriculture, they are drawing only 36 cents. So we talk about return to investment. Very illustrious data was presented through our every institute will present, like this much money was generated, that much was generated through my variety, that one, this one. This 2022 report of World Bank says if you invest $1, your return to investment in agriculture, because agriculture per se is not only technology. When you develop the technology, it is there is no magic multiplier effect. Technology, if you throw it, it will not multiply, because technology has to be put into green revolution pathway. Government has to provide the subsidy. Government has to make an enabling environment so that technology will be adopted. So that all the enabling environment, so much cost is required. So that means that government wants that if you spend 1 rupee in agriculture in total, not only for technology development, they want to get the return. So this report is being debated in a very big manner. It is going to be debated because these governments, including India, we are getting only, if you invest $1, only 33 cents are coming. So in this condition, there is a very, very important aspect is we have to identify that what we are going to make an intervention and how you are going to make an intervention in such a way that this impact is being created, that to something tangible impact, because it's a taxpayer money. Government is not making its own money. It is where you are getting taxes and they are investing in agriculture. So you can see in another line, in terms of breakup in the farm income, like I said, about 10,218 rupees is the per capita monthly income from farmers in India. You can see about 52.65% of the farm income is coming from crop and animal sources. So you can see how much is coming from crop is about 37%. From livestock, it is coming about 15.48%. So that means that when you are talking about crop production and livestock, this is where your all agricultural universities and other ICR institutes are contributing. You are not contributing for wages. You are not contributing for non-farm business. We are not contributing for leasing out land, how much farmer is getting. That is, we are not directly contributing. As an university, as an ICR institute, we are contributing only in this 52.65%. We have to make sure that our technologies are increasing this value by about 70% or 80%. That is why government is putting a lot of emphasis on doubling the farmers' income. So doubling the farmers' income will not come only through the technology. When the technology is put into the green revolution pathway, so what is coming out of at the end, that is actually you are doubling the farmers' income, whatever income which is coming there. So impact assessment per se, like in my opinion, so I have to be very clear in this case, in this place, like I am not a specialist in impact assessment. I am a extension scientist. I am very good in technology acceptance, behavior modeling. Impact assessment is something which is coming after that. Like my work will stop at the adoption, like technology acceptance. What is going to come after that? These are all related to impact assessment. But from my long experience in field, like I used to work with in the northeastern states, I used to work in other places as well as we are also interacting with. We have a very good scientist, economist here. So based on my experience, and I am just telling, I am going to talk about the different methods in assessment. Okay, but this background, whatever the background which we are going to make it, and how you are going to decide the indicators of the impact, what we have to decide what is actual impact and how this impact will be measured in such a way that we will be getting something like this diagram. If you want to say that there is an impact, okay, there is no need to see any other thing. You see this pie graph. From the value has to go from 52.65% to even by 58.65% means you definitely made a huge impact. This is a very visual, very easy way of looking at the impact. You forget about how much money the farmer got, how much money the technology has generated, how much money, how much adoption the people are doing it. It's all different indicators, but very simple diagram. What anyone wants to see is this 52.65% has to be increased by 58.65 or 60% after 3 years or after 5 years, after 10 years of implementation of the project. So this is the baseline that we are now. I am slowly coming to the baseline. So what happens? Why we talk about baseline? I will talk in impact assessment framework. This is the impact assessment framework, very beautifully designed and conceptualized by Dr. P.K. Joshi in 2003. Still, I consider this is one of the best way for looking at the technologies promoted through the green revolution pathway. It is not applicable for others, like a climate resilient technology. We talk about nutrition sensitive extension. We talk about entrepreneurship development. These things are having a different frameworks. We cannot apply this kind of framework into those kind of pathways. This will be applicable only for the green revolution pathway, which is targeted to promote the technologies in such a way that it will be adopted in a large scale and farm income will be doubled or it will be increased. So you can see R&D is there. From there, some research output is coming, and which is being adopted. And at the same time, the adoption, there are several agencies which are involved, several agencies and processes like institutions, technology transfer. There is a policy, infrastructure. This is what I am terming this is in green revolution pathway, because green revolution pathway technology per se will not go. It will go with a package. And adoption leads to the social welfare. Social welfare is an impact which is actually visible only after a sufficient period of time. Depending upon the technology, it will be visible after 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. In a simple way, I think most of you are aware about what is output, outcome, and impact. Output means as the end of the project, when you are closing your project, the output you have to give the output to your project funding agency. In most of the times, output is the quantity of seed materials provided, money spent on like money, as well as the people who got the training program, what kind of training program we conducted, how many FLDs we have conducted, or sometimes OFT if it is going for a multi-location kind of thing. So those things will be coming into the beneficiary farmers. How much money you have transferred. Transferred means in the terms of direct to benefit transfer, because that in ICR and universities, we don't have the system. We are giving only the critical inputs. But when you are integrating, if you are converging with the state government programs, so you can also show that this many people have got Kisan credit cards, this many people have got the soil health cards, this many number of people got the insurance. Actually, this is one area where we are actually lacking. So as a research institution, we are a university, we are going for FLD. Okay, we have to make sure that our beneficiary farmers are enrolled into the central government programs. Like a soil health card, how many our FLD farmers have soil health card? How many of FLD farmers have availed the crop insurance? How many of the FLD farmers have availed some kind of subsidies? You have to make an integration at the grassroots level. Then only you can see the impact of your technology. Otherwise, simply giving some planting material or seed and getting the yield, measuring the yield means you will be you are making intervention. I am saying you are making an intervention even in that 52 point something, your intervention is will be only for 25%, because any technology will be adopted only it goes as a package. Okay, so we have to be very careful when while designing an impact assessment study. And social welfare means you have to see the definition of social welfare. It is much beyond increasing the farmer's income. Okay, that income, whatever income the farmers is generating in after adopting the particular technology, he has to convert the income into some kind of capitals, like a physical capital, natural capital. In that the DFID framework says how much of the capital has been increased during the time of impact. So that we have to see it. That all depends upon our objective, the title of the project. If it is on only some salt tolerant variety, it is going into climate resilience. For increasing the productivity, it is coming into green revolution pathway. So it is coming into a different kind of frameworks there. And in this method, we are looking at the consumer surplus and the producer surplus there. Producer surplus means how much of the yield you have got increased. Okay, so that how that yield increasing in the yield is translated into the increasing in the income, and how much you will be able to spend that money for your purpose. So this is what we are looking at it here. And again, there is another problem will come when there is an increasing in the yield. There is every probability that your market price will be reduced. That means that it is having some adverse effect on the income. There are many econometric methods to talk about it, like economic surplus model and different models they are talking about it. I'm just telling you the basic background where it is being applied. So that this all the thing which we are doing, we are putting some kind of inputs into the extension intervention program. Like the inputs are funds, efforts, technology, which are mobilized and being put into the project. And there are some kind of activities where we are taking to translate our goals of the project into a reality. So what are the actions we are taking to put the inputs into the grassroots level some program? So when you are implementing it at the end of the project, you will be getting some output, some tangible and intangible output. Like if you are going for a training, organizing a training program, the number of farmers who are trained is a tangible output. Number of farmers who got the seeds after participating in the technical program, training program is the tangible output. How much of the skill level is increased? That is an intangible output. So that normally we calculate it in terms of the knowledge gained or skills sharpened. So based on that, we are doing it. And there are some other intangible outputs is like a positive attitude or a favorable opinion and a favorable perception. They are also coming under the intangible outputs. And again, outcomes. Suppose when a farmer is gaining the knowledge and he is also getting the seed material of the improved variety, and he is also getting a constant support from the extension worker, and he is also getting some kind of seasonal loans for implementing that, for adopting the particular variety. He is going to adopt that particular variety in a larger scale. Initially, they will do in a trial form, and later they will adopt in a larger scale. So when the person is, when a farmer is adopting in a larger scale, after 1 or 2 years, okay, so increasing the productivity in the FLD is an output. Increasing the productivity in 80% or 90% adopted village, in the adopted farm, where you are converting the productivity into the economic terms, it is called as an outcome. So when the increasing the money, increasing the farmer's income, that money will be invested in some capitals, some physical capitals and others. They are all coming under your final impact. So social welfare is something which is making the farmer sustainable, which is making the farmer food and nutritionally secure, which is making a farmer to produce something or generate some kind of constant income over a period of time. So that is an indicator of your social welfare. There are different definitions of the social welfare depending upon the type of intervention you are doing, but this is a very simple way of looking at the social welfare. And you can see the first three, input, activity and output, they are supply side. Outcome and the final outcome, that is an impact, is on demand and supply side. It is a combination of both, because when there is an increasing productivity in that particular village, there is a price glut will be there. Okay, so naturally it happens. Like if your more production is there, then price will be reduced. So there are a lot of demand and supply things are happening inside. So I'm not going into the technicalities about it. So if you want to get more of technical information into it, please attend any economics and econometrics training program. So they will be giving a modeling kind of a different economic perspective. And there are three ways we look into the impact evaluation. One is before intervention, before taking up any kind of intervention, any kind of project and program. There you do that ex-ante evaluation, which will be help you in getting the priority setting. So that is one way of doing it. Second one is something was already undertaken, some adoption has already happened, some diffusion has already happened. So you want to see how much of the impact was created out of my intervention. So there you go for ex-post evaluation. And there is a concurrent evaluation we'll be doing to correct the gaps in between the project, like a monitoring and evaluation. Dr. Shashidhar will be talking in the last day. He's an expert in talking about the monitoring and evaluations. And this is the model. This is a very basic model when you look into research, development, and adoption continuum. So in the first initial stages in technology development and promotion, including extension, so a lot of money will be spent by the research institutions. Okay, when the technology is released into the farmers field, and again it is promoted through some extension, people on the diffusion curve, like a layers curve, there will be increasing in the number of adopters who are adopting the particular technology. The S curve says that it is a cumulative adopter, that the S curve. So there will be an increase in the number of people who are adopting the particular technology, and there will be some ceiling, and then after that it will be reduced, because it is reduced because of several reasons. One is discontinuance, because of disenchantment, discontinuance. Somebody will be like having a negative opinion or negative effects of the adopting the technology, like everybody in the same village adopt the technology and the price is coming down. So the farmer is getting less price, he is switching over to the other technology. Or else the person may be getting a better variety, because here the technology life cycle comes into the picture. Like the technology life cycle means when a technology is introduced into the market, it will go to peak at one level and again it will start declining. Okay, that means that in a genetic erosion, in varieties, we call it as a genetic erosion. Initially, the variety will be giving a very high yield. Okay, then in the later stages, if it is continuously adopted, like that we call it as over adoption. When there is an over adoption, so there is a likelihood that this will be susceptible to pest and diseases, and the yield will be reduced. Maybe the cooking quality or the consumption qualities will be reduced. Or else if you talk about sugarcane, the BRICS index will be reduced. If you talk about cassava, the starch content will be reduced, or the starch quality will be reduced over a period of time. So that means that a variety is coming to end. So that means that whenever we are introducing a variety, when we are introducing a variety through the extension system, we also should have some kind of program in place, so that after third or fourth year of adopting the particular variety, we should be able to release the better variety. Okay, that's why many private companies, because I am a part of this technology licensing system in my institutions, many people who are coming to our for licensing the technology, at least 20-25% of them people are asking like, let us go for a contract research. Now I am taking this technology. For example, we talk about biopesticide. I am taking this after 2 to 3 years. After getting the initial benefits, that biopesticide effectiveness will be reduced or some better thing will come. So now itself, let us go into this agreement with your university. So let us develop a same product with the better efficacy. So that let us at the same time, let this product goes to market, and let us do something for 2 to 3 years so that we will create a better product. So that this any businessman or any farmer wants to permanently sustain the relative advantage. So he will apply, like you will see only among the innovators. Innovators, they will come and they will take the improved variety seeds. Okay, they will be continuously disturbing a research institution or any extension agency. They will say that, is there any better varieties? That they told already I gave you, you are already getting more benefit. No problem, sir. You also give me, whenever you are getting a new variety, you give me. That is the intention, is like they want to retain the relative advantage of the technology, which is giving a higher returns at the initial stage. So this is one logic when we talk about this impact assessment. Anyway, sir. Okay. So anyway, at this, at this point, I just want to talk about one is adoption. So we have an innovator categories. We have a different innovator categories like innovators, early majority, late majority, laggards. We say that these people will always apply the technology first and other things. You have to integrate this innovator category into the impact assessment, because one way is whenever you are taking the people, suppose a technology is introduced now, there is an extension effort so that in the particular district, almost like every farmer, targeted farmer knows about the particular variety. That means that there is 100% knowledge, 100% awareness about the particular technology. Suppose when you go for measuring the adoption, because adoption is one of the criteria for impact, because that will be used as one of the criteria for the impact. So what happens when we do it? When we make some kind of program, intervention program there, and we do some 2 years, normally in FLD, we do it for 2 years for consistent evaluation. So you do 2 years in one place and 2 years in another place. And also you have to see that how much of the knowledge is spread to the other parts of the district. Okay, suppose what happens in adoption, when you go for adoption, you choose the places where you already make the introduction of the particular variety. But you will not choose the place where you did not do your intervention. Okay, but even in the place where you already promoted the technology, there is an innovation decision process comes there, KPDIC, no? Whenever farmer is getting to know about the technology, he will be getting some awareness. He will go into the knowledge stage. Then knowledge stage means somebody, initial stages in FLD, the neighbor will be watching that fellow. Then next year he will come to the extension worker. He will say that I saw this technology in his field. Okay, I also want to do it because I saw that this person has got a very good market price last year. Okay, then he will be getting, that means that apart from awareness, he is going into the knowledge stage. So when you are going into knowledge stage, when he is seeing that it is happening, he will develop a favorable attitude. Actually, when you are looking at the adoption, before adoption, so many mental processes are happening. In our adoption studies, we never take this thing into account. We simply go there, we select sampling strategy, we apply, inclusive and exclusive criteria we take the data from the people, we take adopter and a non-adopter, we take sometimes the three binomial, or sometimes we take into 3 level of adoption. We really don't know whether this person is in which state of the KPDIC. So only at the end, KPDIC, only when some person is reaching the end stage, then only he will do the adoption. Otherwise, he will not do the adoption. You will be unfortunately taking a person who is already convinced of your technology. He is ready to adopt it, but he did not get the sufficient quality seed material, so he did not adopt it. But you are still saying that this fellow is a non-adopter. So whenever you are doing adoption, it is very important that you have to identify the stage at which the innovation decision stage the person is there. So otherwise, your data, you will simply collect the data and you will put into some kind of limited dependent variable model like a logit or probit or tobit, using some adoption coefficient and other things. Your data will be getting some result, but the result is not actually reflecting the reality. So there are a lot of things we have to do while measuring the adoption itself. So let me go to the second stage. So this is the plot, like it says that all the 3 kinds of impact assessment strategy in the technology transfer pathway are depicted here: ex-ante assessment, monitoring and evaluation, and ex-post facto assessment. Here you can see I was already explaining that S curve, adoption curve. So ex-ante assessment means technology was in development stage, then technology was introduced into the system, and the project is running there, monitoring and evaluation, you are doing it, and the ex-post factor will start either after completion of the project, mostly after completion of your project. So this kind of system is very much important because you will understand what kind of method to use where. I am showing you a few indicators for impact evaluation. This is not the constant one. You can always make your own indicator based on literature review and other, again, qualitative studies done with your beneficiaries. Efficiency, their efficiency of your intervention. I am talking about here all are interventions. Percentage of adoption of technology, yield gain, at the experimental and field level, unit cost reduction, increased farm income, net present value of the benefits, and internal rate of return. So these are all the universal indicators used for, like I mean to say, these are the universal indicators used for measuring the impact in India. Every policymaker wants this data. Every extension manager, every research manager wants this data. How much yield is increased, how much is adopted, out of the adoption, how much farmers' income is increased. Okay, then how much of the current cost is reduced, and again, what is the net present value, what is the internal rate of return. So benefit cost ratio, along with this benefit cost ratio. These are all the universal indicators demanded by anybody, any policymaker in India, especially in the agriculture line. And food security is something which we use in the project title. But we don't actually, most of the projects, we use the word food security, nutritional security, livelihood security, but we don't really measure those things there, because there are different measurement mechanisms for measuring the food security. Okay, there is a FAO questionnaire is there, assessing the food insecurity, and there is a household food consumption questionnaire is there, and the food diversity index is there. I think many international agencies are doing it, but in India, only few agencies have already applied for measurement of food security. Food security is nothing but your access to food as well as affordability to the food. It is taken based on your economic capacity, availability of the food, and affordability. Affordability is economic capacity. And how much of poverty is reduced, it's a very long term. It is very difficult to measure it, because unless and until we have a very strong baseline data, poverty reduction, whatever we do it using your exposed factor or using some even propensity score matching and others, these are all based on assumptions. You will not get the real level of impact, especially for poverty, food security, and those things. And a reduction of risk in the crop failure, and a reduction in the production variability. Production variability and risk crop failure all directly related to the environmental and other external factors that are external to the farmer, market price, and then again vagaries of the climate, unstable climate change, and again sustainability, improved soil fertility, diversification in cropping patterns, farmers' perception, and the total factor productivity. And here you have to see, there will be some direct indicator, there will be some indirect indicators. Like a food security, there is no direct indicator of the food security. You have to measure it through some kind of indirect indicators, like food access in the village, like homestead, home gardens, how much yield is coming, how much yield we are getting as in the whole village for staple food crops, and how much the PDS is able to supply the food to them, and home gardens. Based on all this data, we will be able to calculate the availability of the food at the village level. But affordability is something which is directly related to the economic capacity of the farmer. So using these indicators, we can measure the food security. But the efficiency, you can directly measure it. Efficiency, adoption, you can directly see. Though adoption is not directly measurable, but we are actually measuring adoption based on the self-report measures. But there are ways you can measure the adoption directly. And sustainability also you can measure. There are several indicators. For this, you have to take up the indicators which are more of a life science and a biological science. You have to work with the natural resource management scientists, and what are the indicators of soil fertility, whether it is increasing, because you have to do some kind of chemical analysis here. Diversification in farming pattern, farmers' perception, total factor productivity growth. These are the few indicators, not all, few indicators of the impact evaluation. How will you select the impact indicator? That is a matrix method. Just I will tell you the different steps. We don't have time for this. And you have to decide the level of impact assessment, whether you are going to measure the output, outcome, or impact. So whenever you are making a baseline survey, you have to make the indicators. What kind of indicators you are going to make in the output, what kind of indicators you are going to see in the outcome, what kind of indicators you have to assess in terms of the impact. Because if you don't do baseline survey, it will be like a hell. You have to run your impact assessment based on some assumptions, and maybe propensity score matching will give you some idea about the taking up the control. But even then, most of the models, no, you have to make a lot. Even economic surplus model, most of the time you have to use some kind of assumptions. So anything you are making out of assumptions will create some issue, because it is not the reflection of the reality. and identify the limited number of relevant indicators, select the data sources for each indicator, construct a matrix listing the indicator, identifying their importance for the selected impact level, high and low, ease of, because these are the different criteria. Like one is the importance of the indicator to the selected impact level. Second one is ease of obtaining the data for the particular indicator, and different, easy to difficult, and again the cost of data collection, because these are all feasibility analysis. We have to make a feasibility for particular indicators. Prioritize the indicators based on these three criteria. Group selected indicators by source of data. Because suppose if you select some indicator, from where you will get the data. Sometimes you may get the secondary data, sometimes we may get the primary data. Everything has to be specified at the beginning itself. And finally, you choose your indicators. There are three levels of impact evaluation. Farm level impact, that is looking into the well-being of the farmers, which are measured in terms of yield, income, household food security, reduction in the risk, increasing in the natural resources, or avoiding depletion of natural resources, or gender equality. These are all the different indicators of the farm level well-being. Regional level means the performance of the sector, production, prices, employment generated, increasing in the trade, and enhancement in the natural resources, which is directly related to sustainable agriculture, and a reduction in the poverty. These are the regional level indicators. And here the problem comes, like most of the regional level indicators, when you are measuring, except for production, prices, and some employment and trade, these natural resources and poverty, unless and until you use a proper indicators, we cannot measure it, because our regional level, all these indicators are determined by sources, mostly by the sources other than our intervention. So we make an intervention in one village, and you will go on collecting the data from the regional level. It is not correct unless and until your intervention is super hit, and then the technology is spreading like fire. Then only that is going to make a regional level impact in a shorter period of time. Otherwise, regional center impact means you have to replicate the similar intervention at different places, and from there you have to make sure that it is balancedly distributed in the particular region. From there you can collect the data. And the economy level impact is national level. It is a very high level where some varieties, like some IHR variety and different IHR institutes variety, they are the top leaders. They are the market leaders. So they create a kind of impact that others cannot create it. So there you can calculate the national level indicators. Because national level impact and regional level impact will come only you get a reasonable level of adoption. So if the adoption in a particular universe, when you say that these are all the target group of the farmers who are likely to adopt my technology, at least you have to have 60 to 70% of the target group adopted the technology. Then only you have to go for a regional level and economy level impact. Otherwise, you have to assume something and just go with your assumption. And again, most important thing is many macro level impact assessment methods, you need quality data, and you need quality data which are collected at the regular intervals. So like I will be showing one example of economic surplus approach, which is widely used in economics. And there, unless and until you have the data about the adoption, you have a data about the trade, and you have the data about the wholesale that prices, farm gate prices, and without proper data which is taken as a regular intervals, you cannot go for the impact evaluation. You need proper data. Even if it is for secondary data or primary data, you need the data in a proper form. Otherwise, you cannot go for a proper impact evaluation. So steps in impact evaluation is selecting the technology, identify the target domain. So which area you are going to make an impact assessment, who are your target groups, and what is the crop or livestock which you are trying to do the impact assessment. What is the level of impact assessment? You do it at the village level, or you do it at the regional level, or district level, or state level, or the country level. And what is the computational method, comparison method you are going for the impact assessment, and what is a different type of impact assessments are there, different methods, that is ex post facto thing, and then economic surplus approach, and even a lot of econometric approaches are there. And again, some of the approaches are there for qualitative approaches also, and indicators of impact assessment. Then select the appropriate methodology and data collection. This is a very simple, like any other research project, you can design an impact assessment study. And the different methods are there. You can see partial budgeting technique, economic surplus approach, NPV, PC ratio, internal rate of return, total factor productivity, propensity score matching, double difference method, randomized control trial, regression adjustment methods, decomposition model, IPWRA. Then these are all different methods, mostly developed in the field of economics. And if you look into all the methods, first three are widely used. Partial budgeting technique is widely used. Economic surplus method is widely used. NPV, BC ratio, and internal rate of return is widely used because we have good knowledge about implementing these methods, as well as we have good software and others. Like I mean to say, some people, like the people who are sitting in Delhi in a bigger institutions, no, they will be having access to other very sophisticated software and other methods. But it is that knowledge and the facility is not available with the people who are in the other regions. So that's why everybody want a very simple method like NPV, PC ratio, and IRR. So that you will be calculating through your economic surplus model, as well as through direct field intervention model also you can calculate this. And partial budgeting is a simple substitution. So you are replacing farmer's variety, how much extra money you are putting, how much extra income you are getting, you make a plus and minus. So you'll be getting the. These are very user-friendly method which are widely used. But the other methods, total factor productivity, propensity score matching, and the double difference method, you need some kind of expertise. We cannot simply do this by downloading from internet. You have to attend a training program, try a pilot plant, and do work with somebody who has already done this method. Then only you will understand the mechanics as well as the implementation of this method. And there are qualitative methods also, you can do it. There is an impact pathway method developed by Graham Thiel. That's one of the qualitative method. And there are many methods which are not directly related to technology adoption, like PMCA, participatory market chain analysis, developed. And there are other many participatory methods are there. If you want to get more idea about how the participatory methods can be used, you can go into CIP website, International Potato Center website, as well as recently the RTB, Roots, Tubers and Banana. There is a CJER program, Melinda Gates, funded by Melinda Gates Foundation. So this RTB, they have some kind of impact assessment methods which are more of a participatory in nature. So otherwise, in general, in India, we use only the economics-based impact assessment methods. So there are mixed methods also coming in the recent times. Here you can see this is a summary of different methods which are used. Theory-driven approach, logic model, historical analysis, general elimination theory, and then quantitative approach like experimental and quasi-experimental designs. So quasi-experimental design means in extension, we use it in the KVK, like a knowledge gain, pre-post factor, pre-post assessment. That is a quasi-experimental design. And the pipeline design, concept mapping. Concept mapping is like we talk about food security. Okay. So what happens if you want to develop a scale to measure the food security? Or maybe you can take the women empowerment. Women empowerment. So recently there was a paper that paper says that women empowerment is a contextualized measurement system. Like normally what we do is we take from previous literature review and we develop the scale for measuring the empowerment of the women, because empowerment is an impact factor. It is not outcome, it is not an output. Empowerment is an impact. Something like if you are making an entrepreneurship intervention in a self-help group. Okay, at the end of the intervention, how many number of women benefited? So how much of the income increased by the self-help group? So how much of diversification they have done it? These are all the different indicators of the output. Okay, in outcome means when the same enterprise is being continued by the self-help group for a period of 2 years, they get some additional income. Okay, so that additional income will be invested in some kind of some kind of enterprise for expanding the same thing or to continue this and increasing the saving. That will come under your outcome. then using that additional income, whether they created any kind of assets or whether they expanded their business, that is all coming under the your impact. So empowerment means the women self-help group is already having a sufficient knowledge, sufficient skill, and sufficient experience in continuing that particular business over a period of time, and without the much help from the other agencies. So that is a level of empowerment. So this one indicates that they can do everything by themselves without the depending much on the other intervention agencies. This indicates an empowerment. This particular stage will differ with every different kind of intervention. Okay, so how will you measure? Suppose if you are giving a fishery kind of intervention, aquaculture kind of intervention there. Okay, so women are have managing some integrated farming system. Okay, so they are getting some additional farm income through self-help groups. Okay, then in that case, the impact indicators for particular women empowerment when aquaculture was used will be slightly different when you are using agroforestry. When you are using a staple food crops, it will be slightly different because the indicator is you have to look in terms of the sustainability of the same group to take this intervention for a little longer period. So there the indicators of the human empowerment will be different. That's why what always I used to say that whenever you are going for any impact assessment, whenever you are going for any kind of scale development or anything, first you, apart from your literature review, you have to go to the beneficiaries. You just ask them, what is your perception about the empowerment? So suppose I am saying that you should be able to take up the business to the next level. Okay, if you want to take up the business to the next level, so what kind of thing you need it? So only those things will be taken as an indicator for the empowerment rather than the one which are taken from your literature review. So please do some kind of qualitative study at the beginning, and then from there you select some kind of variables or indicators. You can do at the baseline survey time also. Baseline survey also you can use some focus group discussion. From there you can select the indicators. And social network analysis, citizen report cards, these are the different techniques. And again, quantitative technique and qualitative technique, realist evaluation, qualitative analysis of comparer countries, and then comparison with other sector expert judgments, key informants, and the public expenditure tracing. So these are the different methods which are used side by side. Nowadays, we are going for a mixed methods approach. Not exactly, because there are some problems in quantitative approach and there are some problems in qualitative approach. We are trying to negate the effects of the these limitations or constraints by combining both of them together. Okay, this is the impact assessment decision matrix. Economic impact, if you want to do it, to go for econometric approach and econometric surplus model. Technique is production function, total productivity, index methods and derivatives. If you want to look into socio-cultural impact, socio-economic survey or adoption survey, comparison over time. Environmental impact will have a different methods and indicators. Direct product of research is effectiveness analysis using logical framework, means you have to go for single comparison, target versus actual. So you can develop your kind of decision matrix based on your requirement, based on the way the topic which you are actually working. So I will tell you about two methods. One is a partial budgeting and another one is economic surplus model. In partial budgeting, we are doing nothing. We are replacing the farmer's variety or farmer's technology with our technology. We are not asking the farmer to change the package of practices. We are not asking the farmer to change anything. Simply we are substituting something with this. Okay, this most of the time we do it. Most of the times we substitute farmer's technology with our technology, either a variety, either a poultry breed, poultry strain, or livestock breed, or whatever. So when you are doing this, there will be 4 components will be there. When you are introducing the new variety, there will be some additional cost because it's a new hybrid variety. So normally farmer will be using the same variety what he preserved in the last harvest. In this variety, they have to get the seeds from somewhere. Some money they have to put it. Second one is reduced cost. Reduced cost means by applying this particular variety, you don't have to do the something which you did did earlier. I can give one example from my side. We have a yam variety called Sri Dhanya. Okay, that normally yam varieties, they need staking because they are like a creepers. Okay, but this Sri Dhanya variety, they don't need that staking. So means when you are adopting this variety, there will be some reduced cost. That means that how much of the staking cost was reduced because of adopting this variety. Then added returns. So last year you got this much, this year you have got this much. And reduced return. Sometimes when a new variety is introduced, the market price, that particular variety will not get it. So the variety has to depend upon the understanding about the market. Like I mean to say that marketers understanding about the particular new variety. So there will be some price will be less, reduced returns will come. So the profit bar loss equal to added returns minus added cost plus reduced cost minus reduced return. It's a very simple method and a very powerful method for assessing the impact, economic impact. And this is the table for partial budgeting, debit side, credit side. Added cost due to this, this is done by one of our scientists, Dr. Prakash, and a Sri Pavitra variety of cassava, added cost. This is the cassava variety developed by CTCRI, and reduced cost due to this particular variety. Seed cost, you can see quantity used, this is the cost. Seed cost of this particular new variety, this. Added cost due to the use of the particular variety, you can see this person 2,500 rupees extra he paid for this particular variety. Added labor cost, this much. So total number of added cost mean by applying this particular variety, he spent 3,700 rupees extra for particular 1 hectare. Okay, reduced return by using this particular variety is there is no reduced return, it is 0. That means that he is getting the gain of 3,700 rupees at this level. Credit side, if you look into reduced cost due to the new technology is 0, and added returns due to applying this particular variety is 10,000 rupees. So you can, what you can do is you can see 10,000 rupees plus 3,700 extra. So you reduce it. So that means that by applying this particular variety, this person is getting 6,300 rupees per acre revenue. Okay, that means that you are simply substituting the farmer's variety with the new variety. It's a very powerful method, partial budgeting. It is widely used in impact assessment for a layman's method, as a layman's method. Second one is economic surplus model. This is also widely used. There are many papers in India. Dr. Pradyuman Kumar was promoting as one of the front runner, and he is the man who developed, he added a lot of spice into this model. Okay. And consumer surplus, it is based on consumer surplus, producer surplus, total economic surplus, and impact of the technology. It is suitable only when technologies are already established in the field. Okay, to a reasonable level of adoption. That means that over a period of 5 years or 10 years, you have the adoption data. If you don't have the adoption data and other market price data and other things, you cannot use this model. And data should be available for the major indicators. Okay, so this is the economic surplus model, and I will just show one Excel sheet there how the economic surplus model is being calculated. I'll share with you. See this price elasticity, okay, of supply, price elasticity of demand, you have to take from the previous published works. Otherwise, you have to calculate for your crop. Okay, this price elasticity of supply and price elasticity of demand. Yeah, this year you will be taking for multiple years, and you can go for a forecasting, and not forecasting this NPV values. And you have to make a price elasticity of supply and price elasticity of demand. This you have to take it from the published sources. Okay, maximum yield change when compared to your previous variety. You have to put a value here. You have to you can take the value either from your FLD values or even from breeder you can ask. Okay, the marginal cost, the extra money which you are going to use it by adopting this particular technology. Actually, when you complete your at least FLD or you have some cost of cultivation data, then only you can add this way, get these values. Input cost change per hectare, you have to calculate it, fill it up here. Input cost change per kg of the product. Okay, then you can get the value and put it here. Net cost change, actually this equation, if you add this value, the result will come automatically in this table. And the probability of the success. This probability of success means when a new variety is developed or new breed is developed or new strain is developed, you have to ask the some people, especially breeder or somebody who is having a very good field level knowledge, that if I use this but introduce this particular variety, what is the success of this particular variety, whether it is acceptable to the farmers or not acceptable. So you have to calculate the value, either 0.5 or 0.6 or 0.7, you have to calculate it. And again, adoption rate, you can see here, there will not be much adoption rate at the beginning because this is the year the variety was introduced into the extension system. Then after some time, there will be some adoption. This data you have to calculate it. You have to every year you have to collect the data of adoption, or else you have to collect the data from secondary sources from where you have done the adoption. If you don't get the accurate result, no, here there is a problem that all the estimates will come inflated. This is the depreciation rate of the technology that will come little later, not at the beginning, 3-4 years. And the K has to be calculated. There is a formula. It is already put it there. So you don't have to bother that formula. You can see there is a formula. I am not showing it. You can just see from economic surplus model and exogenous output growth here. Then again, this is for fish model. So that's having a different kind of estimation methods. And the price per unit, this is the producer's price, not the consumer price. And production, actual production per year. And change in the total surplus, there is a model. And the research cost, you have to estimate the research cost. Normally, what we do in the research cost is how much of the cost amount was incurred in developing the particular technology. So what we do is we have a RPF in our institute. So we take the budget given by the particular scientist. We take the man days cost. Okay, we take the consumable cost like chemicals and glassware. We take the training cost. We take the TADA, whether somebody has gone there, and how much of the money was spent for OFT, and how much of money was spent for FLD. All these things cost will be calculated. And what we will do is, suppose a research project, if there is a 10 lakh rupees money invested there, so that research project has produced 4 varieties. Okay, we divide the 10 lakh by 4. So we will get to 2.5 lakhs. So the cost of producing, developing the particular variety is only 2.5 lakhs. So only those amount, that amount has to be put into here. This amount after the 2nd, 3rd, 4th year is technology promotion cost. So we produce planting material, we make intervention programs, popularizing program, all the costs you have to include it there. So net benefit, there is a formula. So here at the end, you will get the NPV value, you will get internal rate of return, you will get the benefit cost ratio, NPB and NPC. So this is the output of the economic surplus model. So if anybody wants, I will share this Excel. I think anybody who attended a training program impact assessment, they will be having a copy of this spreadsheet, but still I will share it. I will send it to the organizers. If anybody wants to get it, you can use this. There are many methods you can use directly. If you plot the values, you will be getting the result. It is a very easy method, provided you have sufficient data. If you don't have, because this is a macro level estimation, it can be done for only one state or one district or for only one particular technology, not for the other technology. So this is the economic surplus model. And I will show you another one. I'll directly go to my presentation. So there you calculate the 3 values: net present value, benefit cost ratio, and the internal rate of return. So this is the data requirement: quantity produced in metric tons or quintal. In metric tons, and producer's price, and then yield with and without the new technology, Third step is adoption rate. Average yield. Adoption rate is used for calculating the proportional increase in the production. Adoption cost and the supply and demand elasticity. This one you have to calculate by yourself, or else you can use from previous research works. Cost of the research and extension to obtain the social benefits per year. Each and every year, how much money was spent for promoting the technology. So here some calculation was done for Sri Pavitra variety. So PV cost is 5 lakhs. Target domain is for 3 states. Base year production is 12,000 tons. Base year price 7,000 per ton. Supply elasticity is 1. Demand elasticity is -0.5. Discount rate is 10%. And adoption ceilings, Kerala 60, Tamil Nadu 50, and Andhra Pradesh 50. Net present value, the unit cost reduction is 3,000 per ton. Okay, then net present value is 1,800 million, and the benefit cost ratio, IRR, consumer share is 28%, producer, this is extra data. Okay, this is the kind of output you will be getting out of the your economic surplus model. And the difference in difference method means double difference method. Okay, here you did not take the control value. Control, you don't have any control. The intervention was implemented and you are going for an exposed factor kind of impact assessment. Here what happened, you can see the table like a treatment or controlled. This is the label for B, means after treatment, before is A. So B minus A. In comparison, no, not controlled. There is a after is D and before is D, D minus C. The difference is B minus D and A minus C. Here this value B, DD, difference in different method is this B minus A, treatment and control, minus D minus C. Here you will not get the, sometimes if you don't have a control group, you have to go for a matching method. So that from that matching method, you will be calculating the comparable groups. Like the probability of a person that in propensity score matching, you will identify the probability of the person falling into a particular kind of category. So that is based on that you can do. This is one example used in Farmer Field School by Kristen Davis, published in 2012. There is a book which you can download it. It is a research report. Research report is also there, and it is also published as a paper in World Development. FFS participant, yield before Farmer Field School, yield after Farmer Field School. Here what they have taken, yield after Farmer Field School without FFSC, means control. Okay, they have taken the control. Here non-participant, yield of non-participant before FFSD, yield after FFSE, and yield after FFS. If they had participated, means we have to assume that this person, if that person has participated in Farmer Field School, what would have been the yield. So based on this, they have calculated the impact. Because what happens, many times we don't go for baseline data. Any kind of intervention, it is always advisable that you go for a baseline data, generate some data on the, identify the impact indicators, and generate some kind of data, baseline data, so that after 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, you will be able to see that how much of that indicator change is there. So I have seen, because during my postdoc, when I was doing in a lab in the United States, I found they used to conduct some nutritional survey for the students. Okay, so what they do is some nutrition survey and some psychological characteristics related to nutrition. So I saw one survey which was conducted in 1977. Okay, so they have taken the cohort. They took the same sample, and that is a cohort, not the panel study. Panel study means you have to select the same sample every year. In cohort, you take only group, one particular group. You can randomly select in the next years. They have done a longitudinal kind of study over a period of time. So 77, again 85, and again at about 90. I think they have taken by 8 or 9 times they have collected the data from the same kind of group. So they try to identify the obesity. So how the obesity changes based on food consumption, the obesity measurement. They have taken the BMI value. From there, all from 1977 onwards, the BMI values are there. About 8 or 9 different data is there. So what they have done it, they gave the data set to me. They said that you do this data analysis, you have to tell me that how much of the BMI is changing over age group wise. Okay. So what I understood is the people who are having a less BMI at the beginning, and there is another variable called dieting. So whenever in the United States, obesity is considered a social stigma. Okay, so people go for dieting, especially the girls, they go for dieting and they will be strict dieting. Sometimes they go to pathetic dieting. Okay, so we identified through that it was actually not directly related to my work. Out of interest, I did this. When I analyzed the longitudinal data, I found that the people who are having a normal obesity, when they are under continuous diet, they are actually getting into the obesity problem in the later stage. So that means that even if you are following the diet every year regularly, even when you are under the normal BMI conditions, there is a chance that you will be falling into this obesity category in the later stage. So why I am giving this example now here is most of the impact assessment, if you see like adoption is one of the very important criteria. If you want to see in a larger perspective, like if you want to map the whole technology cycle, or if you want to map the changes in the adoption and the reasons for discontinuance, reason for non-adoption in long term, you have to go for a cohort analysis or the longitudinal study. You have to go for 10 years or 15 years. You select only 1 or 2 villages. You make some intervention at the beginning. Okay, and then you see what is happening after 5 years. You see what is happening after 10 years, what is happening after 15 years. So that you will understand the technology cycle first. Second thing is why the performance of the technology. We talk about S curve. Okay, this S curve is really existing or not, you can identify. Even you can go for theory development. For that, you have to establish the cohort in 1 or 2 villages. About 50% you can establish the cohort. Same group, every 2 years you go there, you collect the data from a different person. So longitudinal research is very, very important, not only to assess, because our work does not stop at measuring the impact. We want to see that the impact is sustained over a period of or not. For that, we need to switch over to the longitudinal kind of research methodologies. So there is one ADOPT model which is developed by CSIRO. Actually, I got this information from NAM, and this is the logic behind this ADOPT model. You can see there are 4 quarters are there. This is just like a matrix. Here you can see this is we talk about the technology characteristics. Okay, so here the population specific differences in the ability to. This is the learnability line. This is the research relative advantage line. Okay, in learnability line, the population specific characteristics which influence the ability of the farmer to learn about the practice. Suppose one particular technology is introduced into the village. Okay, whether this particular population will be able to learn more about that particular practice. So there are some population-wise restrictions are there. Like we talk about norms, we talk about taboos, like a social system characteristics. So they influence the learnability of the technology. And again, learnability characteristics of the practice. This is the technology characteristics. Like we talk about, there are 5 technology relative advantage, complexity, compatibility, those things. So this complexity terminology is converted into learnability characteristics of the practice here, and a relative advantage of the particular technology to the population, relative advantage of the particular practice per se. So these are the different variables they have taken: advisory support, group involvement, relevant and existing skills and knowledge. They are directly, these first 2 are integrated into networks. This is farmer networks, awareness course. These are the different linkages they have identified. So this model, they developed it and they copyrighted it. This model is now, it is already there in CSIRO, ADOPT framework. Okay, but the beauty of this model is, let me show you what is going to come out of this model. We have a subscription, I will show you that. Sir, are you getting the screen, adopt screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So you have to log in there. Okay, here you have to design a project first. So this project was designed for NIBSM, one of the scientists. So you have to select one model. There are 2-3 types are there. And what is a project title? You have to type it, author name, and the innovation. Innovation means the particular, this adopt model, how it will work. No, you have to do FLD. Okay, when the FLD is already found very successful for 2 seasons, then you can use this adopt model. This adopt model will predict the performance of the particular technology over a period of time. So 10 years or 15 years, it will predict. So description is progressive farmers. Go to next. So here they will ask some question. This questionnaire, you have to develop it. I'll show you the questionnaire, how it looks like. We have prepared a questionnaire for some particular one variety. Are you seeing this Word document?
Yes.
This is the questionnaire where you have to collect the data for this adopt. So this you have to do it only after successful of your FLD. So here, this is the variety where we used it. The salient features of the variety, this is 3 Atulya variety, which is having a high starch content. It was successfully demonstrated to in some area, some particular area. Like if you are having a multiple areas, you can do multiple level, you have to take the average value. So these are all the different questions you have to ask to the people who directly carried out the evaluation, maybe the extension worker or maybe the scientists who are directly involved in the FLD. Then what proportion of the cassava farmers has maximizing profit as a strong motivation? That means this thing you have to collect from the extension worker who helped you in implementing the frontline demonstration, maybe in KVK or maybe in other places. So they have to put a value tick here and they have to explain why they are putting tick here. What proportion of cassava farmers protecting natural environment as a strong motivation? So like this, there are many questions are there. They have to put only tick and they have to explain why they have choose the particular response. Now, so there you have to put, whenever you are filling up the questionnaire, you have to answer, put the values here. What exactly, suppose you are collecting data from 20 or 30 or 40 people with the same questionnaire, you take the average value for each and every question. So nearest point, where is the nearest point? There you have to make a tick here in the software. What proportion of the target population has maximizing profit as a strong motivation? Suppose you are getting, you are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, when you are getting 3.5, so you choose the 4. So like that, you have to give only once. So you have to put all questions one by one. Yeah, I just closed it because there will be some 20 or 30 questions will come. See, this is the result you are getting it. 5 years from the start, there will be 0% adoption. Time to 50% adoption is 8.6 years. And at the end, it will draw, you can see here. Time to peak, sensitive and analysis. Every year, based on your questionnaire, it will give you how much of the step up and step down adoption will be there. And yearly adoption levels. So adoption actually starts from the 9th year. level of adoption. So you can download this as directly as a PDF document. Whatever you are getting it now, that can be downloaded as a PDF document. So, but you have to subscribe it. It is about $50 per 1 year. It is very reasonable price. But the problem here comes means whenever you are sending paper to a journal, and you have to explain it very clearly. You have to explain this diagram very nicely, because why they have put link to the network and advisory support and group involvement, why it is linked to the network. There must be some kind of references. And why they connected the relevant existing knowledge and skills to the former networks. So you should have some kind of justification. You should be able to explain this model in such a way that the reviewer will understand. Otherwise, you cannot publish this as a paper. That is one of the disadvantages here, because this software is not available. You have to go to their website and enter the data there. So apart from this, there are many other methods like institutional and political impact. If you want to see, that's a dimension of impact. Simple comparison and trend analysis you can do. Productive impact. There also you can go for simple comparison and a target versus actual. That is basically an effectiveness analysis. You can go for log frame network analysis. In environmental impact assessment, you can go for on-site market impact, on-site non-market impact, off-site market impact. And again, you go for risk assessment, environmental risk mapping, life cycle analysis, multi-agent system, linear programming. So these are the different methods, all compiled from several sources. And economic analysis, which we already saw. Financial analysis, cost effectiveness analysis, break-even analysis, business case calculations, benefit cost, multi-criteria analysis, scoring models. So these are the different ex-ante methods and ex-post factor methods, benefit cost approach and index number and elasticities. And the social impact, comparison over a period of time, socio-economic survey, adoption survey, propensity score matching, you can use it for a social impact analysis. So these are the different analysis. With this, I will close my presentation, and I don't know how much I will be able to tell you, because anyway, this is what 2 hours I will be able to do it. This is the limitations. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for enlightening on the methods for analyzing impact of agricultural technologies. So detailedly, you have covered about the impact evaluation, its need, framework for evaluating the impact, timing of impact evaluation, result chain, research development and adoption continuum, indicators and level of impact evaluation. So very clearly, you have told about the indicators for impact evaluation and the levels of impact evaluation and the techniques of impact evaluation. So in fact, you have discussed about 10 models how to assess the impact. Now I request the participants to post questions in the chat box. Sir, we have the questions, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is from Kritika, sir. She's asking about to assess pandemic impact. To assess the pandemic impact on measuring household food security of farm families, can we go for longitudinal cohort method? So she is asking about, I repeat, to assess pandemic impact on measuring household food security of farm families, can we go for longitudinal cohort method?
Yeah, madam, first thing I want to say, pandemic is a rare phenomenon. It will not occur always. Okay, and it is not expected to occur every time. And it comes maybe once in 25 years or 35 years, and it comes in a different varying degrees. Like a COVID is something, COVID is not a problem, but lockdown was a problem.
Yes.
Okay, the problem was a lockdown, not the COVID per se. Okay, so when you say cohort analysis, you cannot expect that pandemic will come again in the next 10 years or 15 years. Okay, and again, this COVID has already happened. Means you cannot change it. Means either you can go for difference in difference method using some propensity score matching, or else you have to go for a qualitative methods. Like you take any some focus group discussions, you say that prior to that, what was your condition? Now what is your condition? Did you find any change? Okay. Then again, another thing is in the major problem during this COVID is value chain disruption. So value chain disruption is the major issue which we faced in value chain. So in value chain disruption, what happens? There are several actors of the value chain from farmer to consumer. So farmer could not able to sell their products, then the wholesaler could not buy it, and the markets were closed at the initial stages, and the consumer was not getting the items regularly, essentials as well as others item. Okay, so when you are seeing the value chain disruption, if you see in the farm level household food security, farmer will have both as a producer, marketer as well as consumer. So you have to take the dimensions from as a farmer, as a producer, what was the problems he faced? He could not sell his product. There was no labor. If it is in the harvesting stage, if it is in the middle stage, there was no proper care. I could not even do any kind of farm operations. All these things will come into when farmer is a producer. Second thing is farmer as a consumer. Okay, he may not get the essential food items required for his family because most of them are small and marginal farmers. Okay, they are already having a problem of food insecurity in their family. Suppose if the produce is not sold, even their affordability and availability also becomes a problem. So food insecurity might have happened. You have to measure the food insecurity levels of the farming household during and after the that food insecurity has happened at the farmer level because of two things. One is he could not sell it, so he don't have money to buy. Second thing is he is not getting any required produce in their village. Means something has to be available, then only he will be able to buy it. Okay, so you have to look into the you have to first go to farmer and get the qualitative data. What kind of, you have to make all open-ended questionnaire. From the descriptions you identify the indicators, then you can see that too. You cannot go for cohort, you have to go for a something like a pre-post kind of thing, maybe using propensity score. And propensity score matching also very difficult in this case because everyone is a sufferer. It is not voluntary. It is a compulsory kind of thing. So you have to do some qualitative study. You can identify the suitable method. That will be my advice. Any other question?
Sir?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. We want to know about the sample size in partial budgeting method, sir, and even DD method also.
Okay, suppose if you want to publish in a good journal, and you should have at least partial budgeting technique, means you have given a variety to a farmer and he adopted it to some limited reasonable level of extent. So he got some benefit out of it. Okay, that is an individual level. So at least you should cover 200 to 300 farmers per village with the particular variety or particular technology. Then only, because it is nothing but a kind of your sampling, survey sampling for publishing, conducting the research. So small size sample we cannot do. There sometimes if the particular variety is a vanilla, I am telling you about some vanilla farmer or some cardamom farmer or tea growers, tea variety, there the universe is very less. We will not get a more number of tea estate owners or tea growers. So for that you select up to 50% or 20, up to 30% of the total universe size you can select as a sample. Otherwise, for other common varieties, common crops and other livestock breed, if you are going there, you have to go for a large sample. You will simply calculate the average value, average gain which they got out of that partial budgeting intervention.
Thank you, sir. We have another question, sir.
Yeah.
Is there any pathway we can follow for impact assessment for community technology transfer, sir? This is from Lohita.
Yeah, community technology transfer, it depends upon whether your intervention is targeting community technology transfer. Suppose if you are talking about farmer producer organizations, if you want to do some kind of intervention where multiple farmer producer organizations are involved, there you can go for a community kind of thing there, because their sample size will be much lesser. You have to go for a qualitative impact assessment studies, because there you cannot simply take 100 farmer producer organizations. You cannot do with 100 interventions in farmer producer organizations. You can go for 10 agencies or so, where you can go for qualitative analysis. Even there are many qualitative methods are there which you can publish international papers. Narrative analysis, narrative methods are there, and even in focus group discussions also you can identify like a 3 or 4 focus groups. You identify the saturation point. From there you can go for thematic analysis. Where Dr. Venkatesan will be talking about thematic analysis after 2 days. So there you can go for thematic. Even you can publish in a very good journal. So I will tell you one thing. So don't think that only if you are expert in quantitative methods, you can publish international papers. I think many of you know about Dr. P.K. Joshi, no? The man with maybe his brainchild of impact assessment in a very practical way in India. He never uses complex methods. Many of his papers, they use little statistics, very simple statistics, but the way they interpret, no, that is different. That is different. The way you are making an interpretation by applying simple statistics, you can publish international papers. I have my own experience. I can tell you. I was asking farmer that while doing a research work in Odisha, in 2 districts of Odisha. My work is very simple. We have a yam variety. Yam. Okay, what are all the farmer preferred yam attributes? I asked the farmers. Then each and every farmer, I asked them put a rank. Then I collected a list of farmer preferred attributes. I asked the farmers to put a rank. I collected data from about 60 or 70 or I think 90 farmers. Okay, then what I did is we divided the sample into 2 cases. One is commercial system, another one is sustainable system. So there are some farmers who consume the farm at home itself, yam at home itself. They don't sell it. In some farmers, they consume only 20% or 10% yam at home. Rest 80% they sell it out in the market. So that is a commercial system. This is a subsistence system. So what I did, we compared the varietal attributes for commercial and production system using some non-parametric statistics like Kendall's coefficient of concordance, Friedman ANOVA, and Mann-Whitney U-test. So this is the 3 statistical techniques I used in my work. So that paper was published in Experimental Agriculture, Cambridge University. So only thing is, when I was collecting the data, I did not think that I will publish in the international paper. But after looking at the data, I found that there is a clear-cut distinct difference in the production systems. Why don't I go for some comparison? So that means that my result was like, if you want to develop a variety for sustainable production system, these are all the attributes you have to, varietal attributes a breeder has to consider. If the breeder wants to develop a variety for a commercial production system, this is the varietal attributes the breeder has to consider. So that is an implication which attracted the attention of the international people. So otherwise, I did not do much statistics. I did only non-parametric analysis. So you don't think that when you use very complex models, logic, probit, and even structural equation modeling, or when you go for regression discontinuity designs, everything will be there. But you have to look into what is required for your work, what is required for your condition. So what kind of interpretation you are deriving out of your data, that is very important than the applying the complex and other complicated econometrics and other models for making the impact assessment.
Thank you, sir. There is another question. Can you please tell us the best way to assess the impact of skill development programs, sir? This is from Dr. Shivaji Argade from
Okay.
ICR CIFE.
So you have to go into ergonomics. Ergonomics, you have to go into, if you want to get a good quality assessment. See, skill at present, what we are doing is, there are 2-3 ways where you can assess the skills. One is self-report methods. Like, do you understood, are you able to operate this kind of equipment? Are you able to, there are 2-3 types of skills. I will tell you. First thing is, some skills where you are directly operating the machinery. Machinery means something which is more of a ergonomic type of skill. Okay, there are some kind of skills where, which is we cannot directly tell us a skill. We will say that how to do knowledge. How to do knowledge also will come as a part of your skill, like a poultry rearing, aquaculture kind of thing. So where you should know how to produce these fishlings or something based on some kind of procedural method. You should not disturb it. Like in poultry breeding is completely different from growing the other tuber crops or others. So there you need some kind of a specific skills or a specific, you should have a knowledge about the specific equipments. When you are going for post-harvest processing also, you should have a knowledge about some specific equipments, specific processes which are involved in the post-harvest. That is also called as a how to do kind of knowledge. We can call it as a skill. So there you can go for something like a self-report measures. But if you are thinking about the driving of a farm tractor or using some kind of complex like a harvester cum grader or hand-operated chipping machines, not pedal operator, hand-operated chipping machine, where you should know more about the thickness of the chips, at what kind of speed you can operate this. So for that, you have to go for some kind of ergonomic assessment. For that, you have to go for little complex method. There are some softwares are there, which will tell you this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step 1 has to be made like this. Step 2 has to be made like this. So that takes some video camera is there. So it will tell you that this person has made a problem in the step 4. So there you can do some kind of assessment, or you can also rate the skills based on judges rating. Whether this person is doing the operation properly or not. Judges observations, I think 2 or 3 judges you can take it. There you can go for Kendall's coefficient of concordance to assess the consistency in the rating of the judges. And whoever is the best operator of the particular equipment, you can identify through some other means. So you can either go for observation, you can go for self-report measures, or else you go for ergonomic methods, which involves software. Software will identify and tell you that this person has not performed properly. 3 ways you can do.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, hello.
Yes, please.
Hello. Sir,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Girish Reddy, professor at US Dharwad in Karnataka.
Oh, okay, sir.
Analysis between.
Sir, I think your voice is not clear. So can you send in chat box?
Maradi sir, please, can you post your question in the chat box, sir?
1 minute, madam. Now it's okay, no?
Yeah.
Now it's clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, just if you want to comparative analysis between the conventional practices, IFS and zero budget cultivation.
Okay.
And in each aspect, there are different parameters, sir. Integrated pest management, nutrient management, broad the parameters.
Okay.
So in the comparative analysis of this type of the analysis, can you make the qualitative as well as quantitative, the technique which can be more suitable to evaluate the program, sir?
Now, are you telling that adoption of zero budget farming in the whole package?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Normally,
Yeah.
Normally you go for adoption coefficient method, no? Each and every step 1, 2, what this practice is adopted or fully adopted, partially adopted, non-adopted, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, normally we go, but I will tell you that is a wrong procedure because so there are two type of technology. One technology is directly you can take a single technology and to measure the adoption like a variety or biopesticide or maybe something which is more of a tangible case. Okay, there you can go for adoption. But when some technology are coming in cluster form, like IPM practices, agrotechnics, package of practices, they are coming in cluster form. Normally, what we do in our extension is we go for adoption coefficient, Chattopadhyay method. No? Like each and everything. First one is spacing, land preparation, then mulching, then pesticide application, fertilizer application. Each and everything we take the adoption value and we calculate, put it in the adoption coefficient, to calculate the value. Okay. That is actually incorrect method. Why I am saying is package of practices, all these things together will increase your productivity.
Yes,
okay, that means that everything is interrelated with each other. If you take out one thing, so it is not going to give you the proper result.
Yes, yes.
So suppose if you are measuring one particular package is not properly adopted, means naturally yield will be reduced. Okay, you have to follow all the procedures, then only you will get the proper yield. The same thing is happening in the zero budget farming also. If you want to see the adoption, you have to look into the whole package, zero budget farming or natural farming. Whatever package is suggested, you take the whole package and you see that whether the whole package is adopted or not. You cannot split it to different farms.
Yes, yes.
So then from there, and again, one more thing, like if you want to see you are talking about impact assessment or adoption, sir?
Impact assessments.
Sir, impact assessment means you have to first implement it at least for 3 to 4 years. Are you doing some projects, sir?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, it's being completed, sir. RKA project is being completed.
Okay. Okay, that means that I think identified some baseline survey from there. You identified some impact indicator.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so primarily it will be like a reduction in the chemical pesticide use or fertilizer use. Yeah. So those things you can compare, sir. You can take. You already have the baseline data. Pre-post method you can go.
Yes, that too.
So a difference in difference method you can go. You can directly apply the values there. You don't have even you might have taken control and treatment, sir.
Yes, sir. But as you told, sir, some logical framework approach and all, particularly the objectively verifiable indicators and all. Such specific techniques or approaches are there to evaluate these type of the technologies.
Sir, as per my knowledge, like I don't have much idea. Maybe you can discuss with some economist in IRI or somewhere NAIP. No, they will be able to tell.
Okay, okay.
I have not done that area because I don't have much experience there. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Marty, sir, and Seturaman, sir. Sir, there is one more question, sir. They're asking about what are the most important pathway indicators of increasing doubling of farmers' income. They're asking the pathway indicators for doubling farmers' income, sir.
Okay, so doubling the pathway is something a general framework what we take, and we have to generate the data at the grassroots level. So one aspect which I used to think like when you are implementing some normally impact assessment, we do some intervention program. Primarily, we implement the program in terms of the frontline demonstrations and then some training programs and the provision of seeds and other critical inputs. And maybe to sometime we are linking them with some farmers organizations. Yeah, this is the way we normally make the intervention program there. But if you look into pathway kind of indicators, suppose if you are planning for some kind of convergence, for example, I am telling madam some new technology, new variety has been implemented. We have a project in our institute that is from state government project that is called a tuber crop development program. So what they do is a government is asking us to promote the newly released and high yielding and disease tolerant high culinary quality varieties which are released in the last 5 years. Before 5 years, the government is saying, no, you cannot do it. Okay. So what we do is we give the planting materials to the farmer per acre. So if it is a tribal farmer, government is paying 20,000 rupees directly transferred to their account. And critical inputs. Okay, if it is not a tribal farmer, 10,000 rupees we are giving. And for adopting this particular new variety in their farm. So this is exactly the typical way of doing the green revolution pathway. Here the indicator is, one is adoption we will take. Second one is you have to do some kind of RCT trial here. Suppose you take the farmer who are a beneficiary of your program. You take any farmer who is not a beneficiary of your program, but still you are giving the planting material premium. That means that one farmer is getting 15,000 rupees, another farmer gets nothing. Okay, you can make a comparison using the randomized control trial. So where you will get an idea about how, whether the provision of 10,000 or 15,000 rupees transferred to farmer's account, whether it is increasing the adoption or increasing the impact after 3 years or 4 years. There you can do, there are many papers. I have seen 7-8 papers in economics journal, American Journal of Agricultural Economics. They used this kind of method. Somewhere they are giving some subsidy, in another place they are not giving subsidy. And the same planting material or seed material they are giving. So effect of subsidy on the adoption of the seed material, effect so that you can compare between the control group and the treatment. That is possible.
So thank you, sir. Last question. This is from Ram Lakshmi Devi, sir. She's asking about which method is best suited for the study of impact of KVK activities, sir. KVK activities in adopted village. So if you want to study the impact, so which is the best method?
So nowadays we go for propensity score matching. No, that is the only option because there is no baseline data. If you don't have a baseline data, so you can do. Another one is, I will suggest you another method. There is a terminology called service quality in marketing. Service quality means the effectiveness, the beneficiary's perception about the quality of the service extended by some company. How much it has created an impact on him. So that means that in my perception, like in my opinion, KVK is actually extending the several services to the farmers. They are giving advisory service, they are giving seed material service, they are giving so many other services. Okay, what you can do is you can see that for that you have to go for a scale development because service quality is a scale development. It is a scale. It is an intangible impact. Now it cannot be directly quantified. There are 4 or 5 categories are there in service quality. Means accessibility of the KVK staff. One aspect is there. And any provision of any direct benefit, things which are directly benefiting the farmer. There are 6 or 7 dimensions are there in service quality. That's already developed scale, which is widely used in marketing. So you can use this scale, you modify according to your KVK's requirement, and you try that whether service KVK, whatever service KVK is providing to the farmer, whether the services are really worthy or not. Okay, there the advantage is normally what we do is we go for a quantitative yield increase, area expansion, and farmers' income increase kind of indicators. But in this case, you will not go for the direct technology because all these things are related to the technology. It is not related to your KVK's functioning. I think you understand now all these economic impacts, now what you are going through FLD intervention or other intervention, all are related to the technology provided by the KVK. You are not measuring the services provided by the KVK to the farmer because KVK is giving so many services to the farmer apart from technology. They are having WhatsApp group, they are giving the market information, they are also mentoring the farmer producer organizations. KVK is giving service to the farm advisory service. Any diseases there, immediately they are sending through that through WhatsApp, and the KVK is responding. All the, unfortunately, the impact assessment at the KVK is deviating from its core services. You are in KVK impact, you are assessing based on the technology provided by the KVK, not the service provided by the KVK. So you can try, anybody who is interested, you take out the questionnaire service that is called SERQUAL, Service Quality Assessment Questionnaire. It is widely used in marketing. You can customize to your KVK, and you see that as an extension agency which is supposed to provide the extension and advisory services to the farmers, what is the effectiveness of the KVK in terms of providing the extension and advisory services to the farmer. 99.99% impact assessment conducted at KVK is pertaining to the technology, not to the service provided by the KVK. This is my perception. Yeah. Any other question, madam?
I think there are no questions, I think, posted in chat box. Dr. Sethuraman, sir?
Yes, sir.
In fact, you have made the presentation very live, and also covered all the current aspects. And also, I think participants got the inputs about the impact assessment methods. Sir, Dr. Sethuraman, sir, while I was discussing about this topic, in fact, our concern is our university, main Acharya Engineering Agriculture University,
yes, sir.
Is having very big contribution in terms of releasing rice varieties and also the groundnut and also pulses. The three areas are noted for Angru, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In fact, our Vice Chancellor is very much interested. We have to conduct the impact studies. In what way our varieties could create socio-economic impact on the farmers,
Yes,
in
sir.
terms of crores. But by little, by seeing the area of adoption of our varieties, almost roughly it is about 1 lakh crores. Lakh crores has been created on the farmers' income. But we have to do the research and we have to establish that it is correct. Based on the impact studies only, we can submit the results to the government and also central government. And especially in case of groundnuts, sir, 60% of the area of the country is covered by Angru varieties.
Yes, sir.
For that, we need to, as I think, small localized studies may not give fruitful results. It can be a mega study. At least to start with, in our state, in what way the impact assessment can be done, we will discuss with you afterwards, sir. In fact, let us finalize the standardized procedure. It may involve economics people, statistics people, extension people, or breeders, principal scientists. Together, we can have another workshop along with eminent resource persons like you, so that we can evolve appropriate methodology, so that it can be taken up by all the fraternity of scientists, fraternity of our Angru, sir. Is it okay, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will be there, sir. No problem.
Yeah, please. With this, sir, I immensely thank you for considering our request and also made it possible to deliver the topic on methods of for assessment of analyzing the impact of agriculture technologies elaborately with several models, with several methods also. And you have answered all the queries raised by the participants. It is really worth listening to you, sir. And we will be in touch with in future also, sir. Our cooperation, your cooperation is very much required. Definitely our university administration is very much interested, right from registrar, all the university officers, director of research, director of extension, dean of agriculture, dean of PG studies, and all the people, they are very much interested to properly conduct the research in terms of identifying the impact of our technologies, sir. This, in fact, on behalf of the Department of Agriculture Extension Education and also Agriculture College Bapatla and also Acharya Engineering Agriculture University, and on behalf of NAHP IDP program, we immensely thank you, sir, for having delivered this topic immensely and up to the satisfaction of the participants, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That is
Thank
it,
you,
Rama,
sir. Thank you for inviting me and as well as the participants for
Yeah.
listening to me for a very long time, extended period of time.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
One announcement to the participants. I will share the PPT presentation given by the Dr. Sethuraman. And also I request the participants to join all the days. Those who are joined all the 5 days will get e-certificate. See, this is one announcement from the organization side. I also request you to be there tomorrow at 2 p.m. sharp. Today also we have started at on time, and also only by virtue of the questions we have extended the session. Tomorrow 2 o'clock, Dr. G.A.K. Kumar, meta-analysis will be. It will be very useful for all the PG and PhD students and also extension scientists. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let us close today. I thank all the participants and also our PG students and also our technical staff, Dr. Gautam and Hebel, and also students, Dr. Jyoti, and also our faculty for their active participation throughout this session. Thank you very much. We call it a day.